Chapter 12:10. Ning Fan's original intention was to kill the immortal stone to create the undying ghost soldier. However, his attempt ended in failure. Strange. There's nothing wrong with my technique, but I still failed. It doesn't seem like it's because of the success rate. Instead, it seems like there's some other reason. Ning Fan remained silent as if he was thinking. After a long time, he seemed to have a guess, but he could not verify it. Could it be that the stone man didn't come in his complete form from the beginning? Forget it. If my guess is right, I should have another chance to kill this stone man in the future. It's really hard to kill a quasi-saint realm being. Even though I don't know who they are, there's one thing I'm sure of. They are here for the heaven-battling jade umbrella. Ning Fan seized Fu Suchin's storage pouch. There was a golden compass inside which could lock the location of the heaven-battling jade umbrella. It was highly possible that they were the cultivators of the water sect that old ancestor Lei Zhe mentioned. This compass seems to have a trace of spirit sense of a second-level quasi-saint. This is also the reason why this compass can lock onto the heaven-battling jade umbrella. Bang! Ning Fan exerted his magic power and shattered the compass into pieces. At the same time, at the place where the four great ominous seas of the northern heaven converged, an illusory old man who was sitting cross-legged on the waves opened his eyes. Did Fu Suchin fail? What a waste! The illusory old man's body was completely made of water. There were 6 green flood dragons swimming inside his body, but they could not get out no matter how hard they tried. Those 6 flood dragons seemed to be formed from his primordial spirit. 5 of the flood dragons had already taken solid form with a green dragon pearl in their mouths. Only the 6th flood dragon was still a little illusory and its dragon pearl was only half formed. Unfortunately, my 6th dragon has yet to stabilize. It's not suitable for me to take action now. I'll deal with this matter after the 6th dragon stabilizes. Immortal Stone, how strong is his opponent? Very strong. Extremely strong. My stone body is completely not his match. A stone man the size of a palm suddenly appeared and answered the illusory old man respectfully. From its appearance, this palm-sized stone man was shockingly a celestial stone that had shrunk countless times. How is he compared to me? The old man asked with a smile. He can fight against the master of the 3 dragons' reign. However, if Master uses the strength of the 4th dragon or above, he will definitely lose. The immortal stone said hatefully. You actually forced this old man to use the strength of 3 dragons? Could it be that in your eyes, this lad is already comparable to a newly advanced 2nd stage quasi-sage? He seems to be only at the celestial king stage, right? The old man snorted coldly. Clearly, he felt that the celestial stone was exaggerating. Master, you must not be careless. This child is truly formidable. This lowly one did not lie. The immortal stone explained. Humph. How could I possibly be careless? It's precisely because I don't want to be careless that I'm waiting until I stabilize the 6th dragon before making my move, isn't that right? Alright, you can leave now. You can choose any of the divine treasure chests and strange stones from the 4 great savage seas. You must form a new stone body before the North Heaven competition. This is related to the ownership of the Stone Soldier 8 formation, so you can't be careless. In the entire water school, you're the only one who can help me. At this critical juncture, don't go looking for that brat for revenge. Remember, the kid you mentioned is just a minor problem. What we need to pay attention to are the holders of the 8 formations, such as Sikong Jia, Zi Lu Luo, and Fishmaster. If you disappoint me again in the North Heaven competition, I won't help you find your hometown even if I ascend to the true world in the future. Yes. The immortal stone gritted his teeth and replied. Ning Fan left the 13th floor and returned to the 12th floor. Initially, he thought that he would have to face the pursuit of the Light Ant clan after returning to the 12th floor. However, what he did not expect was that the 12th floor of the Earth Abyss had already been destroyed by a certain supreme existence. For some unknown reason, the pursuit of the Light Ant clan did not come. Ning Fan had the red name of Heaven's Will above his head. As soon as he entered the 12th floor, he was immediately sensed by Mother Een and the other light ants. However, none of them dared to pursue him anymore. God knows if Omniscient Old Man would go crazy again and eliminate the remaining members of the Light Ant clan if they attack Ning Fan again. The 12th floor was completely destroyed by the Omniscient Old Man. The geomagnetic field that originally affected the senses of spirit sense was no longer effective. When Ning Fan returned to the 12th floor, he was surprised to find that no light ants came to pursue him. However, after sensing the Omniscient Old Man's chi, he vaguely guessed the reason. Could it be that the person who destroyed this floor is Senior Omniscient? Did he come for me? Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. To the Omniscient Old Man, he seems to be just an experimental subject, right? This Omniscient Old Man really has a unique personality. Just for the sake of conducting an experiment. Of course, his strength is also top-notch and terrifying. The gigantic claw mark that was left in the crack of the floor gave off an aura that made people's hearts palpitate. It was just a claw mark, but it seemed to be even scarier than the Prime Ant Lord. If this claw was released in the outside world instead of here, half of the northern heaven would probably be destroyed by the Omniscient Old Man's claw. What exactly is the Omniscient Old Man's strength? Even though he claimed to be a nascent soul realm cultivator, is it possible for a nascent soul realm cultivator to be this powerful? The only thing I can be sure of is that this person doesn't have any malicious intent towards me. Ning Fan rushed towards the place where the Omniscient Old Man was. Not long after, he arrived at the ruins of the Light Ant clan's holy city. Here, Ning Fan saw Mother Een, Hua Kun, and the experts of the Light Ant clan who were either severely injured or lightly injured. Eventually, his gaze fell on the Omniscient Old Man. The Omniscient Old Man was meditating on the ruins. As he was too focused, he was only able to sense Ning Fan's arrival half a beat later. When he saw that Ning Fan was really unscathed, the Omniscient Old Man revealed a silly smile that was even dumber than a fool. His face was covered with tears and mucus. "Junior brother, you're all right. You're really all right. Those little ants didn't lie to me. You're still alive. You're still alive. This is great. This is great. Junior brother, since when did I become your junior brother?" These two words were like a huge bell that directly reverberated in the depths of Ning Fan's heart. He felt a shiver in his soul and a trace of sadness. However, he did not know where that sadness came from. It was like water without a source that came out of nowhere. However, it was not just sadness. There was also anger, hatred and forgiveness. It was an extremely complicated feeling. It was so complicated that Ning Fan felt a trace of bitterness in his heart. At this moment, Ning Fan felt a trace of karma. He did not feel it before, but when the Omniscient Old Man called him junior brother, he felt it. That trace of karma did not exist in Ning Fan's past. Instead, it seemed to exist in his future. Ning Fan was inwardly surprised. Could it be that his future will be intertwined with this Omniscient Old Man and even become his junior brother? Or perhaps, this person just called him junior brother wrongly and the complicated feelings in his heart were just an illusion. "Senior, why did you call me junior brother?" Ning Fan calmed himself down and asked. What junior brother? Little friend Ning, what nonsense are you talking about? Humph. Speaking of which, why did you destroy the 12th level of the Earth Abyss to such a state? Do you know what the consequences will be? The Omniscient Old Man's eyes were filled with confusion. His memory was messed up again. "Senior, are you sure that I'm the one who destroyed this place? Look at that claw mark. It's obviously your chi." Ning Fan was speechless. He was not going to take the blame for this. If you look carefully, it's really me who did it. Speaking of which, why can't I remember why I want to destroy this place?" Ning Fan shook his head. He felt that the Omniscient Old Man must be talking nonsense when he called him junior brother. Thus, he decided not to think too much about it. He walked towards Inmu and Huanua. When the two of them saw Ning Fan approaching them, they instinctively put up their guard. Luckily, Ning Fan did not plan to attack them. Instead, he had something to say. Remove the red name on my head. Ning Fan said to Mother Yin with a meaningful smile. He had obtained quite a lot of benefits from his trip to the 15th level. Now, he had some confidence even when facing a second-level quasi-saint like Mother Yin. The reason why he smiled was because when he saw Mother Yin and Hua Ao, he recalled the wonderful things he did to them in the illusory realm. He could still remember the taste of the two ladies. They were quite delicious. Perhaps it was because the scattered soul of the Light Ant clan's progenitor, the Ant Lord, was in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. His words still carried an invisible deterrent force even though he did not deliberately use a dignified tone. It made Mother Yin and Hua Ao's expressions change drastically. They felt an irresistible urge to submit to him. They did not know why, but they felt a supreme bloodline suppression from Ning Fan's body. It was as if the one who gave them the order was not Ning Fan but the Ant Lord. Yes. What? Why did I say yes instinctively? Mother Yin was so embarrassed that she wanted to die. She really wanted to slap herself a few times. The word obey came out of her mouth instinctively. However, she did not understand it. She could not understand it. Her subconscious mind and her instincts. Why did she have to be afraid of Ning Fan to this extent? Why did she have to obey Ning Fan's orders? Why did she have a feeling of being suppressed by Ning Fan's aura field? She was just a second-level quasi-saint. Ning Fan was just a junior. However, in the end, she still removed the red name above Ning Fan's head obediently. Yes? Ning Fan was slightly surprised. It seemed like Mother Yin's reply was a little strange. After that, he pondered for a moment and purposely said to Hua Ao, who was beside him in a commanding tone, "Come and sleep with me tonight." What? This brat is too arrogant. How dare he insult Lord Hua Ao with such frivolous words? It was unknown how many experts of the Light Ant clan were angered by Ning Fan's words. However, when Ning Fan swept his gaze across them, those ants with weaker cultivation bases actually felt their knees go weak and knelt down in his direction. Hua Ao felt a heaven-shaking rage. She was the dethroned emperor of the Light Ant clan. What was a dethroned emperor? A dethroned emperor was a dethroned monarch. It meant that she really used to hold the highest authority in the Light Ant clan. Even though she was no longer the Light Ant monarch in the past, it still did not diminish her nobility. She was such a noble lady. What kind of joke was Ning Fan making? He actually asked her to sleep with him. How could she agree to that? How? How could she not disobey Ning Fan's order? What was going on? Yes. It was the word, yes, again. Hua Ao shed tears of humiliation. She did not understand why she could not disobey Ning Fan's order. However, she would rather die than put down her nobility and sleep with Ning Fan. You come tonight too? Ning Fan said to Mother Yin. Yes. Yes. Mother Yin also closed her eyes in humiliation and clenched her teeth. She could not disobey Ning Fan's order. The reason was unknown. Interesting. Is this the benefit of being possessed by the Lord Ant? Ning Fan thought to himself. It's not interesting at all. You're actually using our primogenitor's pressure to forcibly order our people. You're too shameless. How could you ask them to do that kind of thing with you? The Lord Ant's angry rebuke resounded in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. We are enemies in the first place. Could it be that only you are allowed to kill me but I am not allowed to use some methods against you? Ha! How can there be such a good thing in this world? Ning Fan finally figured it out. Now that the Lord Ant had possessed him, none of the Light Ants could disobey his order. The Light Ants were his enemies just a while ago. Now, all of them had become his subordinates and his maids. No one could disobey his order. Not even a second-level quasi-saint like Mother Yin could do it. Not even a heavenly proud lady like Hua Ao could do it. Unbelievable. What did you do? Why did these little ants suddenly listen to you? No. Your chi doesn't feel right. There is something wrong with your sea of consciousness. Let me see, a speck of ash and an ant. It's her. Why is she in your sea of consciousness? How dare this lowly servant trick you like this? Omniscient old man's expression changed greatly. Without saying a word, he grabbed Ning Fan and ran madly towards the 5th level of the earth abyss. That kind of undisguised anxiety carried a hint of madness, as if he would go crazy again at any time. He would not allow anything to happen to Ning Fan. No one is allowed to hurt Ning Fan. That's his junior brother. He had done too many wrong things. However, this time, he must protect this person. He must protect him. Senior Omniscient. The strange feeling in Ning Fan's heart appeared again. In the silence, he actually had a feeling that he wanted to cry, but he couldn't. Cry? How many years had it been since he last cried? He could not remember. He was never a weak person. However, at this moment, Omniscient Old Man's back made him feel a sense of sadness. It really isn't an illusion. This person didn't intervene in my past. Then, this karma must be in the future. My future is connected to this person's past. This is the true face of samsara. In the Light Ancestor Earth Abyss, I met Senior Omniscient for the first time. However, to Senior Omniscient, he has seen me a few times. Ning Fan seemed to have an epiphany. The chaotic karma lines in the world seemed to have become clear at this moment. It was the proof of his Tao comprehension. He felt that he was not that far away from the 3rd level of the heavenly being realm. If his Tao comprehension continues to improve, he would push open the 3rd gate of the heavenly being realm one day. At that time, he would be able to sort out all his past and future. At that time, he would be able to see himself clearly. Only then would he understand if he was a person, a butterfly, an eye fan, or a tree. Ugh. This brat is facing a great disaster, but he still has the mood to comprehend the Tao. He's really a freak. No wonder Master was so biased in the past. It made me jealous. Omniscient Old Man was speechless. Then, he felt lost again. But who is Master? I can't get rid of her. Omniscient Old Man had tried nearly 100 methods, but none of them could erase the Ant Lord from Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. This made the Ant Lord feel very proud. She could not defeat Omniscient Old Man and had always been suppressed by him. Finally, there was a time when Omniscient Old Man could not do anything to her. This feeling is really great. Wah! Omniscient Old Man knelt on the ground, thumping his chest and wailing. Master! Master! I can't even save my junior brother. What's the use of me living in this reincarnation of 44 eras? What's the use of cultivating the Tao of the defiant crane? I'd rather die. His depressed and sorrowful tone once again shocked Ning Fan's heart. I'm just possessed by the Ant Lord. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? Senior, why do you have to be so sad? After experiencing some things, I don't think it's a bad thing to be possessed by the Ant Lord. Even I don't think it's a big deal. There's no reason for you to feel so sad. Ning Fan had never faced such a situation before. For a moment, he did not know what to do. Omniscient Old Man's crying look was very funny. However, he could not laugh. Not only was he unable to laugh, but he also had a feeling of wanting to cry. There must be a way. There must be. There must be. Senior brother will bring you to cure your illness. I won't suppress the Ant Lord anymore. We'll go and cure your illness. Omniscient Old Man became even crazier. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect this despicable crane to have such a miserable moment. It's really funny. The Ant Lord laughed happily. But soon, she could not feel happy anymore. It was because Ning Fan used the bewitching technique on her. Silence. If I hear you laugh again, don't blame me for being merciless. Ning Fan was very angry. In this world, there were people who could really make him angry to this extent. However, the strange thing was that omniscient old man was actually one of them. No matter how he looked at it, it was strange. How hateful. The Ant Lord felt greatly humiliated. However, she did not dare to laugh anymore as she was afraid that she would suffer more. If she was the real Ant Lord, she would probably rather destroy herself than yield to Ning Fan. However, she was just a scattered soul. How could a scattered soul's broken Tao heart have that much determination and ruthlessness? Ning Fan tried his best to calm the omniscient old man down. In the end, he still managed to send him away. With omniscient old man's cultivation base, if he really goes to the outside world and goes crazy, no one would be able to suppress him once something goes wrong. The 12th level of the earth abyss that was transformed from the spine of a saint was extremely sturdy. However, it was destroyed by omniscient old man after just a few scratches. If omniscient old man goes to the northern heaven and goes crazy, all living beings would be plunged into misery and suffering. What a headache. When senior omniscient old man goes crazy, I really can't suppress him no matter what. I still have to be more careful in the future not to provoke him too much. Ning Fan sighed. Then, he looked at the two quasi-saint realm females in front of him with interest. Mother Yin and Hua Ao. The night had arrived. The two of them finally came to keep their promise. They could not go against the Ant Lord's ancestral aura force. If I say that I want to pluck you two tonight and destroy your cultivation base, will you be afraid? Ning Fan said emotionlessly. What? How dare you? Mother Yin and Hua Ao's faces turned pale in an instant. Initially, they thought that it was already very humiliating for them to sleep with Ning Fan. They did not expect that Ning Fan still wanted to pluck them and make them fall from the quasi-saint realm. Don't be afraid. I'm just saying. You two can go back now. Suddenly, Ning Fan's eyes flashed. He was actually sent away by the two females again. He actually did not pluck the two excellent quasi-saint realm human cauldrons. No, it should be said that his original intention was indeed to pluck the two females tonight to improve his cultivation base. However, he changed his mind at the last moment. Just like what was mentioned before, the Ant Lord lived in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. He could read her thoughts at any time. When Ning Fan really wanted to pluck the two females, the Ant Lord's inner thought was actually for him to pluck them as soon as possible. The Ant Lord thought inwardly. Pluck them as much as you can. What a reckless brat. You sullied my people. Of course, I'm angry. However, if you not only sully them but also pluck them, you will definitely suffer the consequences of your own actions. When there are no more quasi-saint realm female light ants in this place, it will be the best time for me to break out of the seal. I want to kill you 10,000 times or even 1,000,000 times in the real world. The Ant Lord's inner thought was too shocking. If Ning Fan really plucked Mother Yin and Hua Ao, causing there to be no more quasi-saint realm female ants in the light ancestor earth abyss, would the Ant Lord be able to break out of the seal? Could it be that the existences of Mother Yin and Hua Ao were the crucial parts to suppress the Ant Lord? One should know that what Ning Fan obtained was not all of the Ant Lord's undying soul. Instead, it was just an extremely small trace of it. That was why it was called scattered soul. This little bit of scattered soul was probably not even 1,000th of the Ant Lord's total soul. Most of the Ant Lord's existences were actually suppressed by the all-knowing old man. If the Ant Lord breaks out of the seal, it would be a huge joke. She could kill Ning Fan with just a glance. Even if the all-knowing old man had the ability to suppress her again, he might not be able to save Ning Fan in time. Damn it. My spirit sense is connected to yours. You saw my thoughts and changed your mind. That's why you didn't pluck those two women. The Ant Lord said disappointedly. So, you want me to bully and humiliate your people, right? Of course not. But I also desire freedom. Freedom? Don't even think about that kind of thing. I won't give you the chance to take revenge on me. Just stay in my sea of consciousness obediently. Out of caution, Ning Fan did not pluck Mother Yin and Hua Ao in the end. When everything came to an end, Ning Fan finally felt a trace of fatigue and a trace of pain in his sea of consciousness. His sea of consciousness had yet to recover from the injury. It was left behind when he died in the Ant Lord's dream. Ning Fan consumed some pills in an attempt to heal his sea of consciousness. As the medicinal power spread, he also felt sleepy. The recovery of his sea of consciousness was naturally the fastest when he was asleep. However, as soon as he fell asleep, he had a bad feeling. In the dream world, Ning Fan looked at the Ant Lord, who was even larger than heaven and earth. His expression was extremely unpleasant. Do you really want to pester me endlessly and kill me 1,000,000 times in my dream? Of course. Even though killing you in your dream won't hurt your sea of consciousness, I can't stand it anymore. You've been disrespectful to me time and time again. This is the punishment you deserve. The Ant Lord said mercilessly. Aren't you afraid that I will punish you after you wake up from this dream? Ning Fan said coldly. We'll talk about tomorrow's matter. I'm going to kill you tonight. However, there's one thing I don't understand. Have you been to the Canaan Sea of Bitterness of the Chaotic Kun sacred sect before? The Ant Lord asked curiously. No. Then why can your dream create the scenery of the Canaan Sea of Bitterness? The Ant Lord frowned. She did not know why, but she actually felt a hint of uneasiness in this dreamland where Ning Fan absolutely suppressed her. The scenery in Ning Fan's dream was a place called the Canaan Bitter Sea. This place did not exist in the illusory world. Instead, it existed in the chaotic Kun sacred sect of the true world. Because this is not Master's memory. This is the memory of the Canaan Sea of Misery. It is mine. I'm Ji, an insignificant dust immortal from the true world. I'm looking for a person whose tears are even more bitter than this sea, a person whose tears can enlighten me. An inconspicuous speck of dust suddenly appeared in Ning Fan's dream world. Almost as soon as the dust appeared, the Ant Lord's beautiful eyes flickered. You're Ji. I remember you. You are the concubine who barged into the saint's dream in the reincarnation dream. Back then, he even stabbed me. I'm not the only one. You've also injured dozens of saints' mind spaces and committed a great crime in the true world. I didn't expect that you would still be alive. Why are you in the purple battle illusory world? Could it be that you even pierced through immortal Emperor Zido's dream realm? He actually escaped to this place. Escaped? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just looking for someone in the dreams of all living beings. However, I got lost and accidentally barged into this world. I want to find him, but I can't find him no matter how hard I try. Is this immortal Emperor Zido's illusory world? I'm not sure. Did I hurt your sea of consciousness before? I don't remember. Ji said in a daze. Why are you in this young man's dream? Are you here to stop me from killing this young man? The Ant Lord said coldly. He's my master. His sea of consciousness is my home. If I'm not here, where should I be? However, you are too rude. You actually barged into my home without my permission. Besides, you even barged into my master's dream and wanted to bully him in his dream. This won't do. If you bully him, he will get angry and refuse to help me find him. Ning Fan was baffled. This dust immortal who was called Ji was subdued by him when he killed a primal core great sovereign. As Ji's abilities in the real world were too weak, Ning Fan had never used her. In fact, he gradually neglected her. Ji was too inconspicuous. She was just a speck of dust. Usually, she would not make any noise in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness, which was completely different from the Ant Lord. Therefore, when the Ant Lord first possessed Ning Fan, he actually did not notice that there was someone else in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness. Speaking of which, Ji is just a small speck of dust. Why would the Ant Lord be so shocked and fearful when he saw her? Could it be that she is not as weak as she looks? Does she have some kind of ability that can threaten a saint? Ji. Back off. Don't get in my way. This is a grudge between me and Ning Fan. If you interfere with a saint's karma, you might regret it in the future. The Ant Lord said with a dark expression. I won't back off. What can you do to me? If you don't back off, I will crush you in this young man's dream. Can you do that? I might not be your match, but I was once enlightened by a drop of someone's tear. Can you defeat that person? As soon as Ji finished speaking, a faceless giant appeared in the Canaan Sea of Misery. This giant was not really faceless, but with Ji's ability, she could not transform this person's face, as if heaven and earth did not allow it. Although the giant had no face, he could cry. His face was devoid of any facial features or expression, but anyone who saw him would be able to feel the desolate sorrow radiating from him. I can't find it. Even if I search for it, I still can't find it. I found Master, I found Senior Brother, I found 7 Apricot Mountain, I found all the smiles you left for me, I even found myself, but only you, I can't find, Ji He, Su Qiling, Mu Weiliang, Red Yiksha, Ji Qingling, Nailan Ling, Shan Hai Ling. Which one is you? I've searched through all the flowers in the mortal world. Every single one of them looks like you, and every single one of them is not you. Searching for a single star amidst a billion boundless expanse is something that cannot be chanced upon, something that cannot be sought, something that cannot be described with words. Awakening after 10 years, unthinkable and indestructible. He was at a loss in this life. We will not meet again in the next life. Ning Fan did not know why, but he still shed tears in the end. He looked at the faceless giant as if he was looking at himself, at his own future, at his own despair, at his own loneliness. That faceless giant was too terrifying. When he stood there, the Ant Lord could only kneel and crawl on the surface of the Canaan Bitter Sea. He did not even have the right to stand in front of him. How could there be such a powerful being in this world? Even her master, Hung Jun, was not this strong. Who is this faceless giant? Who exactly is he? No one is allowed to disturb my dream. The faceless giant suddenly gave an order. All of a sudden, Ning Fan's world of dreams shattered. No one could disturb the dream of that faceless giant, not even Ning Fan. Ning Fan opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with confusion. He wanted to enter the dream realm again to take a look at that faceless giant again. However, to his horror, he realized that as soon as the faceless giant gave his order, he was actually deprived of the right to enter the dream realm again. From now on, Ning Fan could still sleep, but he would never be able to dream again. He had lost the right to enter the dream realm. That person was too domineering. He just wanted to keep all of his dreams for himself. No one could disturb him. No one could share them with him. No one could touch them. Not even Ning Fan could do it. Damn it. This young man's right to dream has actually been taken away. What kind of heaven-defying method is this? But the problem is, if this young man doesn't dream, how am I going to kill him in his dream? This is the only happiness I have in being imprisoned in this place. If this happiness is also taken away, wouldn't I only have one thing left to do for the rest of my life? The Ant Lord wanted to cry but had no tears. However, Ning Fan ignored the Ant Lord, which was rare. At this moment, he really could not smile. Everything that he had experienced today made him unable to smile. Who am I? Ning Fan pushed the door open and walked out. He raised his head and looked at the sky. At this moment, he was not looking at the sky. Instead, he was eager to see the origin of samsara and his starting point. He wanted to know who the faceless giant was looking for. Then, he would find her. I'm sorry, Master. I didn't know that creating the dream realm of Jia Nan Sea of Bitterness would cause you so much trouble. By the way, let me remind Master that the faceless giant is the person I'm looking for. Shameful. Ji's guilty voice resounded in his sea of consciousness. After feeling guilty, there was also shyness. She was just a speck of dust, but she had fallen in love with that man whom she could not even see his face clearly. I guess even if you find him, he won't want to see you. His heart is completely empty. He only has one person in it. Even if there's one more speck of dust in his heart, he won't be able to put it away. Ning Fan sighed. Ji was destined not to understand his words, and she also did not want to understand them. She just wanted to find that person and thank him for enlightening her with just a drop of his terror in the past. I need to calm down and stabilize my Tao heart. My Tao heart is in a mess. Chapter 12:11. Ning Fan's Tao heart was in a mess. His Tao heart was also affected by the sorrow of the faceless giant. It was also filled with sorrow and confusion. His Tao was stubbornness, and his character was even more stubborn. If a stubborn person's heart was not in a mess, it was almost impossible for him to be affected by the outside world. This was his advantage. At the same time, however, once a stubborn person enters a dead end, it would be difficult for him to get out of it. Currently, Ning Fan was in such a situation. He was at a loss and could not get out of it. He felt a sense of helplessness. For the first time in his life, he felt the terror of reincarnation. The source of this terror was not true or false, 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 but rather eternal loneliness. He had to use his eternal life to find someone, but he could not find that person. What kind of pain was that? Why did the faceless giant want to find that person? It was because he had lost it. He had nothing left. He had lost everything that he wanted to obtain. Is that faceless giant really my future? Or perhaps, I am his future. Am I the master and he follows me, or is he the master and I follow him? If he is my future, then I don't want such a future. How can I avoid it? Or perhaps, I am not his future and he is not my past. I am just the manifestation of a trace of such a powerful being's divine ability. Even my existence itself is fake. All the past and future are fabricated. If that's the case, I won't be me anymore, hee. So what if I am me? So what if I am not me? I actually don't care about all of this. I don't have the time to think about it. What I am afraid of is actually the future of the faceless giant. After losing everything, I will face eternal loneliness. How can I avoid this kind of future? Is the future really something that you can avoid just because you want to? Ning Fan sighed. The more Ning Fan understood about samsara, the more he knew that the more you try to escape, the more you can't escape from it. That was why he needed that trace of stubbornness to go against the current and crash into the great circle of samsara. He would not hesitate to do so even if his head would bleed. Perhaps he could open up a chance of survival. Perhaps he could not. However, he would only know after trying. If he could not break it open after one attempt, he would crash it 10 times. If he could not break it open after 10 attempts, he would crash it 100 times. Gradually, the bewilderment in Ning Fan's heart was swept away. However, there was only a trace of sadness that was engraved in his heart and could not be dispelled no matter what. Sure enough, no matter how firm his Tao heart was, he was unable to truly obliterate his feelings. He could sweep away all the confusion in his heart, but he could not sweep away the sorrow in his heart. This was the troublesome part of having the 7 emotions. However, it was only when he had emotions that he could be considered a person, and not just an immortal or a demon. And Lord, I thought I could barely accept the reality of being possessed by you, but you insisted on killing me in my dreams. As expected, I still want to kill you even more. Hey, even that stupid crane couldn't do anything to me. What methods do you have to get rid of me? The most you can do is use your bewitching techniques to threaten me. Come on, come on. This consort dared to kill you in your dreams, so I was already prepared to be tortured by you. You don't say, after being tortured by you a few times, this consort really wants to have a taste. In the past, I have been cultivating in the Hongjun sacred sect, and I have never come into contact with such matters. You have to say, it is quite wonderful. The Ant Master said stubbornly. Stop being so stubborn. You're actually still afraid in your heart. You're afraid that I'll turn your pathetic state into a jade slip and spread it through the entire true world. You are truly shameless. But you don't have to be so stubborn. Do you really dare to run to the true world? I know you don't dare. You only dare to show off in Zdo's dreams. It's really meaningless to argue. If I don't try, how would I know that I can't kill you? Ancient Country Trading Formation. Ning Fan set up the Ancient Country Trading Formation. It seemed like he wanted to buy something from the heaven-reaching cult to kill the Ant Lord. Oh. You, a junior from the illusionary world, actually know about the Ancient Country Trading Formation? What a pity. Even though the heaven-reaching cult also has one or two methods to kill me, those methods are all in the hands of their cult master. Who do you think the heaven-reaching cult master is? He is my third senior brother. Even though he betrayed the Hongjun sacred sect in a fit of anger in the past, our brother-sister relationship is still there. As soon as you say that you want to buy a method to get rid of me, the people of the heaven-reaching cult will definitely know that you want to kill me. After all, my master has only imparted this life-saving method to me in the past. Why are your senior brothers everywhere? Ning Fan was speechless. His mind was connected with the Ant Lord. In his sea of consciousness, the Ant Lord could not lie at all. All of his malicious thoughts would be exposed. After hearing what the Ant Lord said, he really could not buy the method to kill the Ant Lord from the heaven-reaching cult anymore. He could imagine the consequences of doing so in his mind. The small theater in Ning Fan's mind, the heaven-reaching cult master, thief. How dare you want to kill my junior sister? From today onwards, all the transactions of the heaven-reaching cult will no longer be open to you. Cough cough. Third senior brother would never speak in such a tone. He is a person who doesn't like to talk nonsense. He probably won't even be bothered to scold you. Instead, he will directly blacklist your qualification to trade with the ancient country. The Ant Lord could see Ning Fan's memories. Of course, she could see the small theater in his mind. She originally thought that Ning Fan would be a cold and aloof person. Unexpectedly, there was actually such a stupid side hidden deep in his personality. It's hard not to be stained by the aura of a stupid person after staying together with a master like that. Ning Fan thought of the old devil and his chrysanthemum blossom face that was always cheerful. Now that he had already arrived at the northern heaven, he would make some time to visit the four majestic sect after eliminating the foreign races in the northern heaven. Then, he would use the passage to return to the rain world to have a look. Mother should have already woken up. If that's the case, father should not have such a stern expression anymore. Master should have already saved mistress. Speaking of which, mistress is Dugu's elder sister. Her name seems to be Xiaomei. This isn't a form of address that I can use. Should I call her mistress or elder sister? If I call her elder sister, master will probably vomit blood out of anger. It's better not to anger him. The cultivation base of Jiha's team should not have improved much. After all, they are too lazy and they don't like to cultivate. As for Qiuling, she might be busy planting flowers and composing poems. Thus, her cultivation base did not improve much either. What about Hong Yi? Is she continuing to be the Thunder Sovereign Buzhou or is she ascending to the ancient devil's abyss as she wished? As for Yu Lingkong, she is still busy planting cucumbers. There are so many women in 7 Apricot City. Did any of them fight when he was not at home? I guess so. There's also little Martin, Big Head and... Ding ding ding. All of a sudden, the ancient country's trading formation rang hurriedly. It was Ning Fan's first time encountering such a situation. Even though he had set up the ancient country's trading formation, he did not activate the transaction as he was worried that his identity as the Lord Ant would be exposed. Thus, he did not know where the sound came from. Idiot. It's the person who has made a private transaction with you. He's looking for you urgently. As long as you have made a private transaction, the ancient country's trading formation will record your world plane. It will be much more convenient for you to make transactions in the future without going through the heaven-reaching sect. I've seen this part of your memories. The other party seems to be a saint of the Little Mountain world. Little thief Ning, oh little thief Ning. Look at what you've done. Didn't you sell a lot of problematic yin heavy wood to him? He's probably coming to you for an explanation. The Lord Ant said sarcastically. This was exactly what it meant by a prophecy coming true. Ning Fan cast a hand seal at the ancient country's trading formation. Just as he activated the formation, he heard the angry voice of a lady coming from the other side of the formation. You're finally willing to show your face. Kill. Life. Fox. Fox of Killing Life was Ning Fan's nickname in the heaven-reaching sect. Miss Ling on the other side seemed to be quite angry. She almost roared out those words. She no longer addressed Ning Fan as fellow Taoist like before. Instead, she directly called him by his nickname. How could she not be angry? She had bought a huge amount of 800 million yin heavy wood from Ning Fan. In the end, all of the goods were contaminated by the Tao-nourishing immortal grain. All of them were damaged. Grade. She wished she could peel off the bones of this unscrupulous merchant. Miss Ling, is it? I know what you're angry about. However, can you allow me to explain? Ning Fan smiled bitterly. It was his fault. It was reasonable for her to be angry. Humph. Miss Ling let out a soft snort. However, she did not say anything else. Obviously, she was waiting for Ning Fan's explanation. Before the transaction, I didn't know that there was a problem with that batch of goods. As a matter of fact, I'm also the victim. After that, I also went through a lot of trouble to separate the Tao-nourishing immortal grain from my body. You really don't know? You didn't purposely plot against me with the Tao-nourishing immortal grain. Miss Ling's tone seemed to have become much gentler. I'm serious. If you don't believe me, I can make a great vow of Heart Devil. Ning Fan did not like to make vows. However, he made an exception this time because he was the one in the wrong. The harm of the Tao-nourishing immortal grain was too great. He did not know if Miss Ling on the other side had suffered great harm because of it. If she had, he was willing to bear all the responsibility and compensate her fully. No matter how great the compensation was. To his enemies, Ning Fan could be so ruthless that he would resort to any means necessary. However, to ordinary people, Ning Fan always had his own principles. Even a paranoid person would have his own set of principles. I don't believe in vows, if that's the case, but I believe you. Just as Ning Fan wanted to say some other methods to make Miss Ling believe him, he swallowed all of his words after hearing what she said. If I don't believe you, I wouldn't have waited so long just to ask for an explanation. As expected, you are also a victim. If that's the case, I have a forbidden technique here that can expel the Tao-nourishing immortal grain from your body. I'll pass it to you now. Pay attention when you receive it. Bang, Miss Ling's luck seemed to be a little bad. The jade slip that she used to inscribe the secret technique did not succeed in the transaction. Instead, it was destroyed in the space-time turbulence. This was also the risk of making a private transaction. She had no choice but to teleport again. This time, the jade slip was successfully delivered to Ning Fan. Mountain Sea Exorcism Technique, consume half of your immortal lifespan and half of your cultivation base to forcefully expel any impurities from your body. It was a very powerful secret technique that could expel the Tao-nourishing immortal grain from your body in an instant. However, the price you have to pay was equally great. Compared to the multi-layered soul sealing technique, each of them had its own advantages and disadvantages. Ning Fan had already removed the Tao-nourishing immortal grain from his body. This technique was useless to him. However, the other party's intention and the way she handled things made his heart tremble. His expression changed. This lady is not here to vent her anger on me. This lady is here to save my life. He did not know this woman at all, yet she was willing to go this far for him. Was this her Tao? Even though Ning Fan had never met this Miss Ling before, he felt like he could see her valiant smile and her clean and efficient way of doing things. Why do you believe that I'm not lying to you? Ning Fan sighed. There's no evidence to speak of when it comes to believing in things like this. Only those who have reached the fourth step can jump out of this world. Being in this world, my reincarnation is in the hands of others. There's no way for me to differentiate between what's real and what's fake. If I want to survive, I must believe in something. After all, this is a world that can only exist if you believe in it. So you have complete trust in everyone? Of course not. For something like trust, it depends on the person and the affinity of the eyes. I have a good impression of you. My intuition tells me that you don't have the intention to harm me. Miss Ling answered. Intuition, huh? But sometimes, intuition can be deceiving. If I still get deceived even though I believe in my intuition, then it's a tribulation in my life. Since it's a tribulation, I still have to go through it even if I can avoid it. Hey! Fellow Taoist, don't tell me you're thinking of opening the ancient country trading formation to discuss Tao. The operation of the formation consumes a lot of heavenly Tao gold. In order to plant the trees again, I've spent quite a lot of money recently. If there's nothing else, then Wait. Is there anything else? Miss, were you harmed by the Tao nourishing immortal grain? I'm fine, but the big toad tree that I planted was killed by your polluted wood chi. Miss Ling said sadly. I'm sorry. Forget it. You didn't do it on purpose anyway. If it's the big toad tree, I can just plant it again. Anyway, I've already planted 42 of them. Perhaps I can plant the next one. Speaking of which, why do you want to plant the trees and why do you want to plant the big toad tree? You really want to open the trading formation to chat with me, right? Miss Ling felt a headache coming on. She had very few friends. Thus, she rarely discussed Tao with others. She had a good impression of Ning Fan. It was not a bad decision to discuss Tao with him once in a while. However, the problem was she. No. Money. Got it. In the heaven-reaching cult, the spiritual seedlings of the big toad tree were not cheap. She had already spent a lot of heavenly Tao gold to buy the spiritual seedlings again. In order to buy the unpolluted heavy wood from other world planes, she spent a huge amount of gold and silver again. At this moment, she really did not have much money left to chat with Ning Fan. Ding ding ding. Just as Miss Ling was about to find an excuse to send Ning Fan away, she suddenly heard a sound coming from the formation. Then, something was teleported over from the other side. It was fine if Miss Ling didn't look, but when she did, she was shocked. Ning Fan actually teleported 500 taels of heavenly Tao gold to her. He is obviously not even a saint, but he's actually so rich. Now, miss, you have enough money to maintain the operation of the trading formation. Ning Fan's laughter resounded from the other side of the formation. Ning Fan was such a person. If someone showed him respect, he would return it tenfold. Since the other party cared about him first, he would return the favor. In addition to the mistake he had made previously, it was not strange for him to give the other party 500 gold taels as compensation. I can't take your money for free. Miss Ling frowned. She did not like taking money from unfamiliar men. It would give her a bad feeling. I don't have any ill intentions with this money. I just want to apologize. If you don't accept it, I won't be able to feel at ease. You seem to have accidentally revealed your surname. The private transactions in the ancient country's trading formation don't allow the two parties to reveal their true identities. This is against the rules. Miss Ling said helplessly. So what if it's against the rules? Those are the rules of the heaven-reaching cult and not the rules between us. Let's get to know each other again. I'm Ning Fan. What about you? Miss Ling felt a headache coming on. Why did she have a feeling that she was being pestered by someone? I'm sorry. I can't tell you my name. Miss Ling said apologetically in the end. Is that so? Ning Fan shook his head with a bitter smile. As expected, the other party still did not want to get to know him. It's not that I don't trust you. Other than being the master of Little Mountain Jia, I also have a secret identity. I am one of the patrolling envoys of the mountain and sea Jie. The names of the patrolling envoys cannot be told to others. There is Yen Ling Xian supervising them. If I break this law, the Li Ground Yi Yen sect that is supervising this law will burn me. Miss Ling explained. She could have pretended that she did not trust Ning Fan and ended the conversation. However, she still gave him an explanation, as if she was worried that Ning Fan would turn off the transaction formation. Sure enough, she was lonely in her heart, and she also longed to communicate with others. Then I'll just call you Lady Ling in the future. In the future? Do you plan to chat with me often in the future? Miss Ling was surprised. If you're unwilling, then forget it. It's not that I don't want to. Anyway, other than patrolling the mountains and planting trees every day, I have nothing else to do. Speaking of which, you have mentioned planting trees several times. Is this your hobby? I've only seen a girl who likes to plant flowers, but I didn't know there was a girl who likes to plant trees. No, planting trees is not my hobby. This has nothing to do with my hobby. It's something that I have to do. In everyone's life, there are many things that must be done. Take me for example. Planting a big toad tree in this life is all my expectation. What's the reason? I don't know the reason. I just feel that just like how I'm waiting for the big toad tree to sprout, it might also be waiting for me. It's waiting for me to plant it, waiting for me to meet it. It's quite an interesting reason. Is it interesting? The other patrolling envoys all said that I'm a boring person. Miss Ling said in a self-deprecating manner. Speaking of which, I've been troubled by something recently. There are obviously people around me who I can talk to, but in order to prevent them from worrying, I still can't talk to them. Oh. Then why don't you tell me about it? Perhaps I can help you. Miss Ling asked curiously. I saw my future. It should be considered as my future. He's terrifyingly strong. I even feel that he's stronger than some fourth-step cultivators. You're the person who knows how to blow your own horn the best I've ever met. Are you trying to tell me that you're worried that your future will be so strong that you won't have any friends? You've searched all over the 3 realms in search of defeat but failed. You want a suitable opponent? The experts of the 3 realms aren't even worthy of sparring with you. Miss Ling was speechless. I'm not joking. Alright, I believe you. Your future is very, very strong, so strong that it's against the heavens. You can become a saint with a single thought, split the heavens with a single thought, create tens of thousands of mountains with a single thought, and destroy everything with a single thought. It seems like I'll lose everything in my future. I'll keep searching, but I'll never be able to find it. Are you serious? Miss Ling's tone became much more serious. I was a little confused before, but in the end, I swept away all my confusion. My Tao heart will not be destroyed by any setback. No one can make me lower my head, let alone take everything away from me. However, I don't know why, but there's a sadness in my heart that I can't erase. I've tried it. Ordinary methods can't make that sadness disappear. Then let's try an unusual method. What method? N. Miss Ling seemed to clear her throat. This is the first time I'm reciting scriptures in front of others. You're not allowed to laugh. Reciting scriptures. Just as Ning Fan was feeling doubtful, he heard a faint voice reciting scriptures coming from the other side of the formation. No, it's not reciting scriptures but humming softly. When Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was cultivating in the depths of Prajnaparamita, he saw that the 5 skandhas were all empty, transcending all sufferings. Sarira, form is not different from emptiness and emptiness is not different from form. Form is emptiness and emptiness is form. It's the same for perception, thought, action and consciousness. Sarira is the emptiness of all dharmas. It's neither born nor destroyed, neither dirty nor clean, neither increasing nor decreasing. Therefore, there's no form in the air, no perception, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no will, no color, no sound, no fragrance, and no law. There's no vision or even a realm of consciousness. There's no ignorance and there's no end to ignorance. There's no death of old age and there's no end to old age and death. There's no suffering and there's no destruction of the Tao. There's no wisdom and there's no attainment. Because there's no attainment, there's no bodhisattva. Because of prajnaparamita, there's no worry in the heart. There's no fear, there's no hindrance, there's no illusion, there's nirvana. All the Buddhas of the three worlds obtained Anuttara Samyaksambodhi through prajnaparamita. Therefore, prajnaparamita is the great divine mantra, the great bright mantra, the supreme mantra and the unequaled mantra. It can get rid of all suffering and it's real. Therefore, the prajnaparamita mantra goes like this: uncovering the truth, 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 uncovering the truth. Ning Fan was in a dilemma. She's actually singing Buddhist scriptures for me. He didn't believe in Buddhism. In other words, it was impossible for any ancient devil to believe in Buddhism. Therefore, he didn't like Buddhist scriptures as it went against his Tao. However, Miss Ling's voice was so pleasant that he couldn't help but want to listen to it a few more times. No, it's not simply pleasant. It's a desire that came from the depths of his soul. He wanted to listen to it one more time. He wanted to listen to it one more time. Otherwise, he might not be able to hear it again after tomorrow. Is it nice? After the song ended, Miss Ling asked nervously, as if she was very concerned about the audience's evaluation. It's nice. You believe in Buddhism? I don't. Miss Ling answered straightforwardly. Then why are you still singing Buddhist scriptures? Ning Fan was speechless. Can't I sing it if I don't believe in it? It's fine as long as it's nice and effective. Take a look at your Tao heart. Is it still sorrowful? Is it really not sorrowful anymore? I've heard of this Buddhist Heart Sutra before. It doesn't seem to have such a miraculous effect. Ning Fan was surprised. Of course. Don't you know who's singing it? If you ask a third-step saint to sing for you, the effect will be incomparably miraculous. If you go to an old nun in a mortal temple to sing for you, it will be useless even if you sing for 10,000 times. Miss Ling said proudly. Thank you. All right. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. However, it's time to water my sapling. Let's talk another day. If your heart is disturbed in the future, you can come and find me. If you can't find me once, you can try a few more times. If I happen to have the ancient country trading formation open, I will receive your contact and help you again. After turning off the ancient country trading formation, Ning Fan's Tao heart no longer felt uncomfortable. He had to admit that Miss Ling's chanting was really effective. He really wanted to listen to it a few more times even if he did not believe in Buddhism. Impressive, little thief. You actually have the ability to coax the 6th era saint to use his samsara power to sing for you. You're quite capable. The Ant Lord said sarcastically. Is the price very high? Ning Fan frowned. If Miss Ling had to pay a huge price just to sing this sutra, he would have a new layer of guilt. It's not a big price, but it's definitely not easy. Someone who doesn't believe in Buddhism has to use the third step Buddha art. Of course, her primordial chi will be greatly damaged. After that, she will have to rest for a long time to recover. The Ant Lord said gloatingly. Ning Fan's expression became a little unpleasant. He wanted to immediately reopen the trading formation and send some items to Miss Ling to replenish her primordial chi. However, he smiled bitterly at the next moment and stopped that thought. She was a saint. She might not lack what he had. Besides, she was still busy watering her sapling. It was not appropriate for him to disturb her. I'll send her some recovery pills that are more valuable the next time I contact her. Chapter 12:12. After Omniscient Old Man regained his senses a little, Ning Fan talked to him again and asked him about suppressing the Ant Lord. Omniscient Old Man could not remember why he suppressed the Ant Lord in the past. However, he still remembered the method of suppressing the Ant Lord very clearly. It was a method of suppression passed down by the Yin and Yang sect. What it suppressed was not the Ant Lord's physical body or undying soul but the Ant Lord's existence. Suppressing the existence of the Ant Lord also required a powerful existence. Since it was a method of the Yin and Yang sect, it involved both Yin and Yang seals. The male quasi-saint ant of the Light Ant clan was the Yang seal that suppressed the Yang existence of the Ant Lord. The female quasi-saint ant of the Light Ant clan was the Yin seal that suppressed the Yin existence of the Ant Lord. Suppressing an existence, Ning Fan shook his head, indicating that he could only understand a little bit of it. He could not understand the deeper things. Obviously, this kind of suppression method was not something of the second step but something of the third step or even the fourth step. Sigh. Little friend Ning, what should I say about you? Not only did you kill a quasi-saint ant of the Light Ant clan, but you also killed an important Yang seal like the corpse slave king. You even captured 2 of the 4 great Yin seals that I placed in this place and destroyed their cultivation bases. Fortunately, you haven't done anything to Mother Yin and Hua Gu. Otherwise, once the Ant Lord escapes, I will have to spend a lot of effort to suppress her again. You should know that this is suppressing a saint. I'm not afraid if she fights back, but what about the Yin people of your purple battle illusory world? Haven't you heard of this saying? When immortals fight, mortals suffer. When I suppress this bitch again, hee. I'm afraid your purple battle illusory world would have already been torn to pieces. Ning Fan smiled awkwardly. Fortunately, he did not really do anything to Mother Yin and Hua Gu. Otherwise, he might become the sinner of the purple battle illusory world. However, you still destroyed quite a lot of the Yang and Yin seals, weakening the power of the seals. Now, this old man has to nurture new Yang seals and Yin seals. You feel good plucking a quasi-saint and killing one is easy, but do you know how much time and energy I need to spend to cultivate a quasi-saint? Little friend Ning, please don't hurt these little ants again, okay? Can you give this old man some face? Okay. However, it's not as if you didn't do anything good. You actually moved away the Ant Lord's mountain of Tao. I was just worried that I wouldn't have a place to deal with it. This is good, very good. As for the Ant Lord's scattered soul in your sea of consciousness. Sigh, I can only bear with it for now. Wait for this old man to come up with a new method before I try to get rid of her. Before that, don't try any random methods, lest you destroy your own sea of consciousness before you can even kill the Ant Lord. Yes. As this matter concerned the survival of the illusionary world, Ning Fan had no choice but to give up on the idea of plucking Mother Yin and Hua Su. Of course, not being able to pluck them didn't mean that he couldn't do anything. After knowing the bottom line of suppressing the Lord Ant, he no longer had any worries. That night, he punished Mother Inmu and Hua Sua, and also planted a seed relic in the 2 girls. Even if he did not pluck their primordial Yin, he still obtained the primordial Yin of 2 quasi-saints. Ning Fan's magic power that had skyrocketed previously had completely stabilized and even improved a little. Then, he released Hua Hua and Hong Lian back to the Light Ant clan and handed them over to Omniscient Old Man to be nurtured again. At this point, the 4 female leaders of the Light Ant clan were all controlled by the relic. They could no longer have the intention to harm Ning Fan. A few days later. With the help of the merit points of the true world, the curse of the sludge monster was successfully lifted. However, Ning Fan did not witness the specific process. After that, when the sludge monster returned the heaven-opening jade book to him, the merit points on it were reduced by 600 points. The strange thing was that even though the curse was lifted, the sludge monster still maintained its mud body. Ning Fan did not know if it was intentional or not. There were still 11,800 merit points left on the heaven-opening jade book. Another 10 days later. After devouring the immemorial Yin wind that Ning Fan had collected, old ancestor Lei Zai's magic power had improved by 100 tribulations while his injuries were fully healed. He finally walked out of the wind pouch and Ning Fan returned it to him. Brother Ning, you really are my lucky star. This time, I have broken through a small bottleneck. In the future, I won't be restrained by the bottleneck for a long period of time. I will usher in a new period of improvement in my cultivation base. Ha ha ha. I really don't know how to thank you. Before old ancestor Lei Zhe could thank Ning Fan properly, he saw omniscient old man standing beside him. Then, under Ning Fan's puzzled gaze, the old ancestor of Lei Zhe rubbed his eyes and burst into tears of joy. He directly knelt down in front of omniscient old man and heavily kowtowed a few times. Martial Uncle He. Is it really you? When you disappeared mysteriously, we were all very worried about you. So you didn't die, didn't die. Lei Zhe, an in-name disciple of the Yang Yi sect, greets Martial Uncle He. As it turned out, Lei Zhe Patriarch was once an in-name disciple of the Yang Yi sect's Divine Master Nangong. Divine Master Nangong and Omniscient were of the same generation, so it was reasonable for Lei Zhe to call him Martial Uncle. Move aside. Who's your Martial Uncle He? Don't try to make connections. This old man doesn't know any 2-instruments sect or 3-instruments sect. I don't even know anything about lightning or rain. Omniscient old man said with a look of disdain. Martial Uncle He, have you forgotten? Back then, you were the one who taught me to smell senior sister's underwear. You are my great benefactor. Have you forgotten all about the important experiences we went through together? Lei Zhe Patriarch said with a pained expression. Underwear, underwear. Omniscient old man's eyes flashed. He seemed to have remembered something. Also, you even brought Martial Nephew to Yi Hong brothel to drink and discuss Tao. If it wasn't for Martial Uncle He, Martial Nephew would never have understood that there are so many secrets on women, Yi Hong brothel. The secrets of women. Omniscient old man seemed to have thought of something. His nose suddenly became hot and 2 streaks of blood flowed down. He seemed to be really remembering the past. But in the end, his incomplete sea of consciousness made him unable to remember those things. This old man doesn't know you. Omniscient old man sighed. So that's how it is. Martial Uncle He's sea of consciousness is actually so broken. No wonder, you don't remember, although this old man doesn't remember you. Since you call me Martial Uncle, then you can't call this little friend Ning brother anymore. You have to call him Little Martial Uncle. Call him Martial Uncle? This doesn't make sense. He's just the inheritor of our sect for countless generations. How can a Martial Nephew call him Martial Uncle? Isn't that a difference in seniority? It's more appropriate for him to call me Martial Nephew Ancestor. Just call him if he wants you to. Why do you have to talk so much? Are you not going to listen to Martial Uncle's orders? Omniscient old man's face turned stern. Lei Zhe gave in out of habit. Martial Uncle, don't be angry. I'll call him. All right? Sigh. Isn't it just acknowledging one more Martial Uncle? It's not a big deal. Please don't let your anger affect your health. Just like that, Ning Fan gained a new Martial Nephew out of nowhere. He had underestimated omniscient old man's influence on old ancestor Lei Zhe. Initially, he thought that old ancestor Lei Zhe would not take omniscient old man's crazy words seriously. However, he was wrong. As omniscient old man gave his order, Lei Zhe actually treated him as his Martial Uncle. When Ning Fan was standing, Lei Zhe did not dare to sit down. When Ning Fan was sitting, Lei Zhe stood at the side and served him like a servant. His attitude was respectful when he spoke and courteous when he acted. The only thing he lacked was to let Ning Fan rest in the morning and sleep on an ice-warm mat. On this day, when Ning Fan was chatting with Bei Xiaoman, Lei Zhe came to him again. Disciple Lei Zhe has something to ask Little Martial Uncle. As soon as he arrived at Ning Fan's door, old ancestor Lei Zhe actually had the intention to kneel down. Is he going to pay his respects to Ning Fan? How could this be? Ning Fan nearly spat out a mouthful of spiritual tea. Bei Xiaoman, who was standing at the side, was also so shocked that she could not close her mouth. Grandpa Shi Bing had just recovered and he still needed to rest. Recently, she had been busy taking care of Grandpa Shi Bing. Thus, she did not know much about Ning Fan and Lei Zhe. Now that she saw Lei Zhe kneeling to Ning Fan, her view of the world changed. She had always thought that Ning Fan was just a small void refinement realm cultivator. What about old ancestor Leisha? He was one of the 3 great quasi-saints of the 4 mystic sects. In the northern heaven, he was already a supreme existence. A dignified quasi-saint of the 4 mystic sects actually addressed Ning Fan as little martial uncle. Moreover, he even kneeled to him as soon as they met. Am I dreaming? Bei Xiaoman pinched her own face in a daze. She found it unbelievable. It actually hurts a little. I'm actually not dreaming. Don't be silly. Senior Leisha must be joking with me. Ning Fan pointed a finger at Leisha from his sleeve and stopped him from kneeling no matter what. Joking? What kind of joke would make a quasi-saint kneel to a void refinement realm junior? Ordinary people would not believe such words. However, Bei Xiaoman believed it. After all, a woman who is in love would usually have her IQ reduced to a negative value. She would believe the words of the man she likes without a doubt. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't kneel here and there. Ning Fan said helplessly. Yes. Little martial uncle, the sect competition of the Northern Heaven sects is just around the corner. As a quasi-saint of the 4 mystic sects, I need to attend the 2nd round of the competition. Thus, I can't serve you for the time being. Little martial uncle, please allow me to do so. Old ancestor Leisha said respectfully. Senior, I already have a headache with an omniscient senior acting like a lunatic. You should stop adding to my troubles. Don't call me martial uncle anymore. I'm not used to it. Ning Fan said with a headache. Little martial uncle. You are my senior. How can you call me senior instead? Aren't you torturing your martial nephew? You can call me martial nephew or just call me by my name. Then, fellow Taoist Lei Zhe, you can't call me fellow Taoist. My 2 rights sect has strict rules. You are the martial uncle, so you should scrupulously fulfill your duty and strictly abide by the sect rules. This seniority must not be messed up. It's already a mess, okay? I'm the descendant of the Black Demon sect, a little disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect who knows how many generations later. You're the senior, okay? Instead, you have to call me martial uncle. Forget it. I'll just call you Lei Zhe. Ning Fan was too lazy to argue with him anymore. So be it, Aunt Master. In any case, he wasn't the one who was at a disadvantage. Then, martial uncle, can you allow me to leave temporarily? You may leave now. Thank you, martial uncle. Oh right, martial uncle, do you want to join the 2nd round of the competition? I don't think I can go. When I represented the Black Demon sect in the 1st round of the grand competition, I violated too many rules of the Northern Heavens and even violated the rules of the grand competition. According to the rules, the Black Demon sect will be disqualified from the 2nd round. Disqualification? Who would dare? You're the little martial uncle of my Lei Zhe. If anyone dares to disqualify you, I'll slaughter his entire sect. If little martial uncle wants to participate in the 2nd round, you can naturally come. At that time, I will prepare the best seats for the Black Demon sect to welcome you. This time, it was Bei Xiaoman's turn to be happy. Little Fan, you also want to participate in the Northern Heavens Grand Competition? Which sect are you representing? Black Luo sect? Or Blackwood sect? I didn't hear it clearly. It's the Black Demon sect. Ning Fan smiled. He knew that Bei Xiaoman did not know about his background. After all, she had only found out about his real name some time ago. Black Demon sect. It sounds familiar. It doesn't seem to be a big sect. Forget it. That's not important. Little Fan, in the 2nd round, can you be my chess soldier? Chess soldier? What's that? You actually don't know about chess soldier? You really don't care about the grand competition of the sects of our Northern Heavens. Seeing Ning Fan's blank expression, Bei Xiaoman suddenly felt superior in terms of intelligence. She explained the rules of the 2nd round to Ning Fan. Unlike the first round, all the sects of the Northern Heavens who participated in the second round would need to use the identity of a chess soldier to find a person among the cultivators of the Lost World Palace to be their chess master. The Northern Heavens Grand Competition was also known as the Battle of the Three Palaces. From the second round onwards, it would be a civil war between the North Palace, South Palace and West Palace of the Lost World Palace. All the sects who participated in the Northern Heavens Grand Competition were just chess soldiers of the Lost World Palace. The disciples of the three palaces of the Lost World Palace would choose their own chess soldiers to help them fight for a place in the second round. I don't understand. Ning Fan was not interested in these complicated rules at all. He did not have much interest in participating in the second round. It's fine if you don't understand. Anyway, you can discuss with the sect master of your Black Demon sect to be my chess soldier in the second round. Although your Black Demon sect isn't a strong sect, it's your fault for having an affair with me. For your sake, I will also protect all of you. It turned out that the reason why Bei Xiaoman wanted to recruit Ning Fan as her chess soldier was because she was worried that Ning Fan's cultivation base was too low. That was why she wanted to use her relationship to secretly protect Ning Fan in the second round. Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. He realized that Bei Xiaoman's misunderstanding of him was getting deeper. Actually, the current sect master of the Black Demon sect is me. What? The Black Demon sect is actually so weak that they have to hire a Void Refinement Realm cultivator to be their sect master? Bei Xiaoman was shocked. Then, her motherly love overflowed and she held Ning Fan's hands tightly. But don't be afraid. You are my chess soldier. You are my man. If I want to protect you, even those powerful beings like Du Zhen and Shi Kong would not be able to hurt you. Du Zhen. Shi Kong. Powerful beings. Actually, I'm stronger than many quasi-saints. Ning Fan explained helplessly. I know. I understand. Your skills in bed are indeed unparalleled. But you have to know that a battle between cultivators isn't like playing with women. The second round is far more dangerous than you can imagine. But no matter how dangerous it is, I will protect you. After all, you are so strong. I can't bear to see anything happen to you. Bei Xiaoman said with a blushing face. Forget it. Ning Fan did not want to explain anymore. The truth would prove that he was not only stronger than ordinary quasi-saints in bed. Originally, Ning Fan was not interested in participating in the second round of the grand competition. However, if he could become Bei Xiaoman's chess soldier and help her a little, he would not mind continuing to participate in this grand competition. Even if he did not even know what a chess soldier was, the second round of the grand competition would only begin in a few months. Ning Fan did not need to go to the Lost World Palace so early to participate in the grand competition. On the other hand, old ancestor Lei Zhe needed to go to the Lost World Palace in advance to supervise the preparations for the grand competition. Bei Xiaoman also needed to go to the Lost World Palace in advance. After all, her identity in the Northern Heaven was a little special. The significance of this grand competition was also very special. Thus, she must go to the Lost World Palace in advance. She had yet to be rescued from the Guangzhou Earth Abyss by old ancestor Lei Zhe after such a long time. The Lost World Palace should already be in a mess. It was time for her to return to the Lost World Palace with old ancestor Lei Zhe. Little Fan Fan, you have to protect yourself. I will wait for you at the Lost World Palace. Until the very end, Bei Xiaoman was still worried about Ning Fan's safety. She was afraid that he would be in danger if he stayed in the Guangzhou Earth Abyss alone. However, only her grandfather's stone warrior and the stone puppets she brought with her knew how insanely strong Ning Fan was. After being modified by Omniscient Master, Stone Warrior's cultivation base was already at the Immortal King realm. In the Northern Heaven, all Immortal Kings were old ancestor-level existences. However, when he stood next to Ning Fan, he felt that the gap between their cultivation bases was even greater than when they were in the Rain World. What cultivation realm have you reached now? Stone Warrior was filled with emotions and asked. I'm just an Immortal King realm like you. Not bad. After getting your new puppet body, you are much stronger than before. If that's the case, you must protect Xiaoman well in the future. Ning Fan also felt emotional. He smiled and patted Stone Warrior's shoulder to encourage him. He used to be Stone Warrior's master for a period of time. Now that he saw Stone Warrior's complete body, he was actually very happy. However, he did not express it too much. I heard that it was you who helped Omniscient Master modify my puppet body. I, Stone Warrior, will never forget your kindness. Hey, Grandpa Stone Warrior, I also helped you, alright? Why did you only help Xie Xiaofan? Bei Xiaoman curled her lips. Besides, don't believe him. He's not an immortal king. Even though his innate talent is extremely high, his bone age is still young. Even though he can become an immortal king in the future, he is still a small void refinement realm cultivator right now. Of course, you shouldn't underestimate him just because he is just a void refinement realm cultivator. He is very strong. He is invincible against those who are at the same level as him. I'm afraid he is also invincible against those who are one realm higher than him. Bei Xiaoman continued. Miss, you're wrong. Of course, I won't believe that he is an immortal king because he is much stronger than an immortal king. If I didn't know him well, I would definitely suspect that he was hiding his identity as a quasi-saint realm cultivator in the Rain world. Forget it. When the second round begins, you will know how powerful your husband is. I'm afraid the entire Northern Heaven will be shocked. The past was still vivid in his mind, making Stone Warrior sigh. In the past, Ning Fan, who dared to capture him with just a nascent soul realm cultivation base, had now become the strongest expert in the Northern Heaven. People say that the new generation surpasses the old one. However, Ning Fan was not a wave at all. It was clearly a tsunami. Not to mention surpassing the old one, it directly drowned the entire land. The geniuses of the same generation as him are really pitiful. They won't be able to stand out in this lifetime and will forever be suppressed by him. Even after Bei Xiaoman left, Ning Fan did not leave the Guangzhou Earth Abyss. The reason he stayed here was to fulfill his promise to Omniscient Master to conduct some experiments on him. Although it was said to be an experiment, Ning Fan's daily life was really no different from having fun. He always had the Yin Mother and the 4 ants to serve him. Besides, he also had the Sludge Monster and Black Devil to play with. His days were very leisurely. Every day, he would be able to consume a large number of spiritual herbs and pills. Those medicinal fruits were not used to improve his cultivation base. Instead, they were used to develop his body's potential. Ning Fan could feel that his strength was growing every day. However, his ancient devil essence chi did not increase at all. It just became a little more solid every day. Senior Omniscient, can I ask you what kind of experiment are you conducting on me right now? Ning Fan asked curiously. Extreme. Omniscient Master only answered Ning Fan with a single word. This single word made Ning Fan confused. Extreme? What's that? It's Master's Dao. Master's Dao is to return all techniques to their origin. There's nothing he won't do. Extreme is divided into Yin and Yang. It also has 2 completely different directions of development, life and death. The experiment that you're doing now is to prepare for the true extreme state. The muscles of a mortal will never be able to unleash their full strength. At most, they can only use 10 to 20% of their strength. The same goes for immortals. Be it their physical body, primordial spirit or spirit sense, out of self-protection, they will never be able to unleash their full strength. Otherwise, they will harm themselves. Some immortals created secret techniques in order to break through the limits of their bodies. They can increase their cultivation base rapidly within a short period of time. Those secret techniques don't increase their cultivation base. Instead, they break through the limits of their bodies. Therefore, these secret techniques usually have side effects. With this degree of breaking through the limits, they can only unleash 30 to 50% of their cultivation base. Normally, when someone gives up everything and explodes their primordial spirit, that person will be able to completely break through the limits and unleash 100% of their cultivation base. That's why the power of the self-explosion is usually earth-shattering. It's a method that will only be used when they're facing certain death. Master's Extreme is not as simple as breaking through the limits of the body. The limit of the body is the 100% of one's cultivation base. Master's Tao is the part that exceeds 100%. You should have felt it. Although your strength is increasing every day, what's supposed to come will still come. Your strength has risen to a bottleneck. This bottleneck is not given to you by anyone. It's set by your body instinctively. This bottleneck is the self-protection mechanism of your body. The experiment that I'm going to do next is to help you forcefully break through this limit. You have to be careful. Once the limit is lifted, you will be able to unleash 100% of your cultivation base. Therefore, you have to control your strength. If you overexert yourself, your body will not be able to withstand the backlash and self-destruct. Chapter 12-13. When all the self-protection restrictions in his body were removed, Ning Fan felt unprecedentedly strong and also extremely uncomfortable. The upper limit of his strength, spirit sense and magic power flow had all increased by more than 10 times. Green veins bulged on his face, making him look a little too ferocious at first glance. The ancient god's heart was beating at a frequency of 6 to 7 times per breath, as if it would explode at any time. Under the influence of the yin and yang qi, the blood in his body became like a broken dam. It crashed in his blood vessels and went out of control. Senior, did you use the yin and yang qi to remove the self-protection restrictions in my body? I never knew that the yin and yang qi could be used like this. Ning Fan said with surprise. Hee. There are still many things that you don't know. How is it? How does it feel to remove all the restrictions? Omniscient Old Man asked with a smile. Very strong. My cultivation base did not change at all. However, my strength has risen to the limit of my current cultivation base. I'm not asking whether you've become stronger or not. I can tell with my eyes how strong your qi has become. What I'm asking is whether the side effects of your body are strong or not. It's all right. Ning Fan felt that he was like a ball that was constantly being pumped with air. His physical body was extremely strong. Therefore, the ball could contain more qi without exploding easily. Do you see that, native? Omniscient Old Man suddenly pointed at a yellow giant in the distance. The place Ning Fan was currently in was a space of a world treasure refined by Omniscient Old Man. This world was specially used for practicing techniques. Yellow giants that were 1 million zhang tall could be seen everywhere in this world. These yellow giants were not living beings. Their appearance was similar to mud statues and their function was similar to that of targets. That yellow was not an ordinary material. It was an immortal material of the true world called armor mud. The hardness of this kind of armor mud was unusually high. However, because it could not flow magic power, it could not be used to refine weapons or puppets. The cultivators of the true world often use this kind of armor mud to pile up yellow mud statues as cultivation targets. I see it. Ning Fan answered. This native is made of armor mud. Even though it is not alive, its sturdiness is well known in the true world. Moreover, due to the unique fusion property of the armor mud, the bigger the mud statue is, the stronger its defense will be. The earthen golem that was 1,000,000 feet tall could take on a quasi-sage divine art without being damaged at all. Give it a try. With your current strength, you might be able to shatter 1,000,000 feet tall earth giant with a single punch, Omniscient Old Man said. Could he do it? After all, it was his first time pushing his body to its limit. Under such a condition, even he himself had no idea how much power his body could unleash. Cross-shaped halo, activate. Immemorial true body, activate. Ning Fan turned into a body of golden flames and dashed towards the yellow giant like a ray of golden light. Then, he threw a punch at it. He didn't use any divine power in this punch. Even so, the power of the punch was still more than 10 times stronger than before. This ordinary punch was almost equivalent to the ancient demon mountain breaking strike that was normally executed. When such a terrifying punch landed on the yellow earth giant's body, it only made the giant shake violently. After a while, it stopped shaking. The surface of its body did not even leave a single mark on it. On the other hand, after Ning Fan's fist was rebounded by the giant, the webbing between his thumb and index finger was shattered and blood was flowing out from his palm. No. The webbing between his thumb and index finger was not as simple as the rebounding force. If a casual rebounding force would hurt his body, Ning Fan must have suffered countless severe injuries when he used the ancient demon mountain breaking strike in the past. This was not a rebounding force. This was a backlash. This backlash was not caused by external injuries. Instead, Ning Fan's body was injured internally. The power of his ordinary punch was comparable to the ancient demon mountain breaking strike in the past. Such a huge increase in strength naturally came with a price. That price was that his body could not withstand the full force he exerted at this moment and was injured by the backlash. This was the reason why the body of a cultivator had self-protection restrictions. Removing the restrictions was an action that would harm one's enemy but also oneself. It was a method that risked one's life. No. That's not right. You still had some scruples in that punch and you couldn't help but hold back your strength. Your body's restrictions have been removed but your mind's restrictions have yet to be removed. Are you afraid of getting hurt? Even though I asked you to hold back, I didn't ask you to hold back at all. Could it be that the punch you threw just now was your full strength? I can help you restrain your body but you have to release the restrictions in your mind by yourself. Is there any moment in your life that you can't be defeated, lose, or lower your head? Omniscient Old Man asked with a frown. Yes, is there any great enemy that you must kill? Is there anyone who is willing to protect it with their life? Yes. Remember the moment when you were the weakest and most desperate. Treat this yellow earth giant as the great enemy that made you despair and kill it with all your strength. But Senior asked me to hold back just now, hurry up. Kill Hung Jun. He is curling his finger at me. Kill him. Omniscient Old Man went crazy again. He pointed at the yellow earth giant in the distance and ordered Ning Fan to kill it. Sigh. Facing a mere yellow earth giant, Ning Fan really could not bring himself to go crazy. However, in order to stop Omniscient Old Man from going crazy, he decided to fulfill his wish and destroy the yellow earth giant. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them again, his eyes were filled with ruthlessness. He looked at the earth giant as if he was looking at a great enemy. After that, he threw another punch at the yellow earth giant. This time, he did not use his normal fist force. Instead, he used the ancient Devil Mountain breaking strike. Under his current extreme condition, a normal punch of his was equivalent to the ancient Devil Mountain breaking strike in the past. When he used the ancient Devil Mountain breaking strike, its destructive power was naturally even more terrifying. It was almost equivalent to 800 consecutive strikes in the past. As soon as the force of his punch spread, the shadow of a devil mountain appeared between heaven and earth. Then, the mountain collapsed. That was not an ordinary landslide. It was the eruption of a volcano from the inside out. Boom Ning Fan's punch finally left a few cracks in the shape of a spider web on the yellow earth giant's body. Since he used too much strength in this attack, the backlash was naturally more severe than the previous one. Ning Fan's entire fist bone was shattered. Even if it's just to stop Senior Omniscient from going crazy, the price I have to pay is just too great. Ning Fan smiled bitterly. Just as he was about to use his self-healing method to heal his fist bone, Omniscient Old Man acted first and healed him. 4 symbols appear. Water Immortal Ding, come out. As Omniscient Old Man muttered an incantation, a large amount of yin and yang qi floated around his body. The yin and yang qi rose and fell from time to time. Eventually, the yin and yang qi turned into an endless lake and sea. Omniscient Old Man stood on the lake and sea. At this moment, his appearance suddenly changed under the influence of the yin and yang qi. He actually turned into a child who was 6 or 7 years old. That child had his hair tied into a bun. His appearance was very similar to Omniscient Old Man. He was just like a younger and shrunken version of Omniscient Old Man. The only difference was that when Omniscient Old Man was old and clumsy, he was just a nascent soul realm cultivator. After he turned into a child, his cultivation base was so profound that Ning Fan could not see through it. Sage. Ning Fan's expression changed. Even though he could not see through the level of Omniscient Old Man's cultivation base, he could sense that the boy's chi was definitely much greater and boundless than the Ant Lord in his dream realm. If he was stronger than a sage, wouldn't he be a sage? You're wrong. I'll say it again. I'm not a sage. I'm just a small nascent soul realm cultivator. However, I'm different from ordinary nascent soul realm cultivators. I've cultivated for a total of 44 eras of reincarnation to the nascent soul realm. Since ancient times until now, no one has ever waited longer than me in the nascent soul realm. If not, I wouldn't dare to call myself the strongest nascent soul realm cultivator since ancient times. Omniscient Old Man explained. 44. It's just one less than 43. Ning Fan's first reaction was not to be shocked by Omniscient Old Man's profound cultivation base. Instead, he was actually paying attention to some inconspicuous things. If it was an ordinary person who said 44, he would not pay attention to it. After all, this number was too common and there was nothing good about it. However, Omniscient Old Man had his own karma. In that case, when Ning Fan looked at Omniscient Old Man's 44 eras of reincarnation, it was just like how he looked at the 42 volcanoes of the Black Devil sect. He seemed to have gained enlightenment. However, he did not fully understand that kind of enlightenment and he could not describe it in words. In a daze, he recalled the encounter he had when he went to the wild world for the first time. He remembered that when he just arrived at the wild world, there were 42 regions. The heavenly Tao spirit of the wild world, Black Devil, also had a deep karma with him. At that time, he would not think deeply about why there were 42 regions in the wild world. Now, however, he thought about it further. 42, 43, 44. These numbers that were similar to each other seemed to have the existence of karma. As a result, Ning Fan who saw the karma became absent-minded. He actually did not hear what Omniscient Old Man said next. Little friend Ning. Did you hear what I said just now? If you heard it, can you give me a reaction? Omniscient Old Man said with dissatisfaction. I'm sorry. Senior, please say it again. Just now, I said that my water immortal image is extremely good at healing. As long as the yin and yang chi of heaven and earth are not exhausted, I can guarantee your life. So, you don't have to be afraid of Hung Jun beat this bastard to death. Break his bones and cripple him. I will treat you from the back. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Then, Omniscient Old Man performed a hand seal. The yin and yang chi of heaven and earth immediately turned into starlight and sprinkled down. It looked like an astrology technique but it was not. The only thing Ning Fan knew was that after the yin and yang chi sprinkled down, the bones of his shattered fists were healed in an instant. Ning Fan originally thought that the black star technique of the Heaven Sovereign was already very powerful. However, this Omniscient Old Man's yin and yang chi healing technique seemed to be not any weaker than the Heaven Sovereign's. With Omniscient Old Man treating him at the side, Ning Fan naturally did not need to worry about getting hurt from the backlash. He struck out more ancient Devil Mountain breaking strikes. The cracks on the yellow earth giant's body increased and the spider webs became denser. The more he used the ancient Devil Mountain breaking strikes, the stronger its destructive power would be. However, since Ning Fan's power was not restricted at all, the backlash from each of his punches would naturally be stronger than the previous one. During the 1,000 consecutive strikes, each of Ning Fan's punches would destroy one of his arms. During the 3,000 consecutive strikes, the backlash from each of his punches would make him lose half of his body. During the 6,000 consecutive strikes, each of his punches would destroy his entire physical body, leaving only his primordial spirit. During the 9,000 consecutive strikes, each of his punches would make half of his primordial spirit dissipate. It was just too dangerous to fight someone at his limit. If it wasn't for Omniscient Old Man's heaven-defying healing technique that was helping him at the side, Ning Fan would not be able to hit 9,000 consecutive strikes at all. Perhaps he would not be able to endure the accumulation of injuries after hitting 100 or 200 times and die from the backlash. When Ning Fan hit 9,000 consecutive strikes, even he himself was shocked by the power of his punches. What kind of destructive attack was that? It was a power that even many second-level quasi-saints could not achieve. The yellow earth giant, which was 1,000,000 zhang tall, was finally destroyed by Ning Fan's punch. Seeing that, Omniscient Old Man laughed out loud as if he had really seen Ning Fan kill Hung Jun. However, after laughing out loud, his eyes became blank again. He touched the bun on his head, not really understanding why he was laughing just now. Then, he noticed that the yellow earth giant was destroyed by Ning Fan and was greatly shocked. Are you crazy? Why did you have to risk your life to fight against a mere native out of nowhere? Didn't I tell you to restrain your attacks? What kind of terrifying backlash would there be for an attack that could destroy the native? If you are directly destroyed by the backlash, wouldn't you die an unjust death? Ning Fan was speechless. You were the one who forced me to destroy the native, all right? Why do you always look for me to take the blame every time your memory becomes messed up? Do we have a grudge against each other? Speaking of which, why can't I remember anything even though I have already manifested the 4 symbols? Omniscient Old Man said blankly. I have already understood, G. Senior has mentioned the 4 symbols twice. What are they? Ning Fan removed his eternal true body and the cross-shaped halos and returned to Omniscient Old Man's side and asked. The 4 symbols are. What are the 4 symbols again? I don't remember. Omniscient Old Man's memory was indeed unreliable. After a moment of confusion, Omniscient Old Man suddenly shouted. Wait! Wait! Let me calm down. What did you just say? During the short period of time you destroyed the native, you have already comprehended what, I was talking about. It hasn't even been the time for an incense stick to burn, right? Yes. Tell me, what is this that I'm talking about? In the past, it took this old man 500 years to go from hearing about it to understanding it. Even so, the Heaven and Earth sect has already said that my aptitude is heaven-defying. If you can really comprehend it in the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, wouldn't your aptitude be 1,000 times better than mine? This is impossible. Ning Fan did not answer him. He just smiled faintly and formed a sword with his fingers. Then, he wrote 2 huge words on the surface of the lake that was transformed by omniscience. Ripples spread out, but the words did not disappear. Tai Chi Wuji gave birth to Taiji, Taiji gave birth to Yin and Yang, and Yin and Yang gave birth to the 4 divisions. This mantra often appeared in cultivation books. Omniscient Old Man was a disciple of the 2 forms sect. Since he kept mentioning the word G and the 4 symbols, Ning Fan would naturally associate it with the concepts of Tai Chi and limitless Tao. This was not because his comprehension ability was amazing, but because the Omniscient Old Man had given him too many hints in his deranged state. In the past, when Ning Fan read this sentence in the ancient records, he was also puzzled about what Tai Chi and limitless were. Today, however, he seemed to have understood it a little. Tai Chi was the pinnacle of a cultivator. Limitless Tao was the pinnacle of Tai Chi. Above limitless Tao was limitless Tao. Therefore, the path of cultivation would never have a limit nor an end. If there is really someone who cultivates to the pinnacle of limitless Tao, allowing limitless Tao to have a beginning and an end, that person would probably have the strength to look down on all the saints in the world. He would then be able to point his sword at the 4th step of Saint Defire, heaven opening. Perhaps the founding ancestor of the 2 forms sect, the 2 forms saint, could do it. Perhaps he couldn't. Ning Fan had never met the 2 forms saint before. Thus, he could not be sure about this. Also, he was too lazy to inquire about this secret. You actually understood it. You really understood it. Omniscience suffered a great blow. In just the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan had accomplished something that he would take 500 years to do. For the first time in his life, he doubted whether he was a little stupid or not. No. Actually, I don't really understand it. Little friend Ning, you don't have to be humble. You don't have to care about my feelings. I know that you are smarter than me and your brain is better than mine. That's why my master valued you more than me in the past. Sigh. Omniscience old man began to talk nonsense again. He would forget some things as he spoke. When he was done talking, he did not even remember what he had said. Where were we, talking about just now? Wait. Wait. Let me calm down. You actually broke the natives into pieces. Do you have to be so crazy? Do you have to risk your life like that? This is just a cultivation session. It's not a battle of life and death. Do you really want me to worry about you? Do you really want to kill yourself because of the backlash? Ning Fan remained silent. As expected, he could not have a pleasant conversation with Omniscience old man. Oh yeah, you asked me what the 4 symbols are just now. Do you really want to know? The topic had subtly returned to the main topic. Yes. Have you heard of this saying before? Wuji gives birth to Tai Chi, Tai Chi gives birth to Yin and Yang give birth to the 4 symbols. Yes, I have. Who wrote the 2 words Tai Chi on the surface of the water? The handwriting is so ugly. It looks like a dog is crawling on the water and a crane is gnawing on it. Speaking of Tai Chi, we have to talk about Yin and Yang. The so-called Tai Chi is exactly what I want to teach you. Previously, I removed all the restrictions on your body and allowed you to reach your limit. That's true, but it's far from Tai Chi. Tai Chi has 2 directions, life and death. It can't be called Tai Chi without the balance of Yin and Yang. In life, there is death, and in death, there is life. This is the pinnacle of cultivation. What you experienced just now is the life realm of Tai Chi that was created by the Yin and Yang Chi. It's a pure life realm without any restrictions of the death realm. Next, I will let you experience the death realm. How magical. The topic had returned. Omniscience old man shouted and a large amount of Yin and Yang Chi floated around his body. 4 symbols appear. Fire devil bee, come out. Under the influence of the Yin and Yang Chi, Omniscience old man's appearance changed. The surrounding terrain also changed. The lake disappeared and turned into a sea of fire. Omniscience old man turned into a middle-aged cultivator, standing in the sea of fire. The middle-aged Omniscience old man's body was condensed by flames. He was completely a flaming man. His appearance was still similar to Omniscience old man. His cultivation base was also heaven-defying, giving Ning Fan the feeling that he was a sage. However, Omniscience old man claimed that he was not a sage. He was just a nascent soul realm cultivator. Considering that his memory was messed up, Ning Fan really could not believe that a nascent soul realm cultivator could be stronger than a sage. You. Who are you? Who am I? Omniscience old man became even crazier. This time, he had forgotten who Ning Fan was. He even forgot who he was. Ning Fan really did not have the strength to complain. Hee hee. I was just joking with you. Actually, I know you. You are my junior brother. What a joke. You really have a leisurely mind. You are my junior brother. I am Han. Han, what's your name again? Forget it. It's not important. Let's continue talking about the Taiji death realm. You still can't enter the Taiji life and death realm on your own. Therefore, I will give you a hand just like before and force you to enter the death realm. The death realm is easy to understand. It is the opposite of the life realm. The life realm can stimulate all of your potential while the death realm is the opposite. It will make all of your strength return to nothingness. As Omniscience old man displayed his ability, a gush of Yin and Yang Chi rushed towards Ning Fan's face, reversing the life realm in his body to the death realm. The situation of Ning Fan, who was in the death realm, was completely opposite to the life realm. At this moment, the upper limit of his strength, spirit sense, and magic power flow had shrunk to less than 1/10,000th of his original strength. His face was lifeless and listless, as if he had not slept for 80,000 years. The ancient god's heart beat once every 10 breaths. Ning Fan's breathing became incomparably long, even close to the breathing of a turtle. Under the influence of the yin and yang qi, the blood in his body seemed to have solidified and almost stopped flowing. Weak. Too weak. Under the death realm, Ning Fan could feel how weak he was. The life realm gave him the strength to crush the yellow earth giant, while the death realm made him so weak that he could not even defeat a cultivator from the Dujin realm. Under the death realm, he was unprecedentedly weak. However, Ning Fan felt that he had become stronger in some aspects that he could not notice. The life realm and the death realm were exactly the opposite of each other. When he was in the life realm, even though he was strong, every punch he threw was a life-risking attack. If it is the opposite in the death realm, could it be? Before Ning Fan could make a guess, omniscient flaming man had already taken out his treasure sword and slashed at him. It was a high-grade innate treasure sword, the yin and yang sect protecting sword. It's actually a high-grade magic treasure. Why does Senior Omniscient want to kill me? Wait a minute. Wasn't this sword broken? When did it get repaired? Is it that easy to repair a high-grade innate treasure after it is destroyed? Is this related to the sword's low durability? Ning Fan instinctively wanted to dodge Omniscient Flaming Man's attack. However, Omniscient Flaming Man only said one sentence which made him suppress the thought of dodging. Trust me. Ning Fan naturally trusted Omniscient Old Man. That kind of trust was deep in his bones. He did not know where it came from. Therefore, even when Omniscient Flaming Man made a move to kill him, he still did not dodge. It was an attack from an innate treasure, and the person who used it was Omniscient Flaming Man, whose chi was even stronger than the Ant Lord. Such a slash was probably enough to kill an ancient great cultivator instantly. However, the strange thing was that when the sword slashed Ning Fan's body, it was as if it had slashed a black hole. All of its power was devoured and turned into nothingness, vanishing without a trace. Ning Fan was unscathed. He stood still on the spot and took a high-grade innate treasure sword of a saint head-on without suffering any damage. What is this Taiji Death Realm? It is actually so powerful. The strength of a life realm cultivator skyrocketed. The death realm cultivator was immortal and immortal. If there is destruction in life and life in destruction, then one's strength could skyrocket and also immortal and immortal. That was the pinnacle of cultivation, the Taiji life and death realm. What Omniscient Flaming Man wanted to impart to him was actually such a terrifying ultimate technique. Who was it? Who was the one who slashed you? I will kill him. I will kill him. Omniscient Flaming Man lost his memory in just a second and went crazy again. Little friend Ning, you actually entered the Taiji death realm on your own? This doesn't make sense. The yin and yang qi in your body are obviously not enough to achieve this. How could you do this? Could it be that your innate talent is so heaven-defying that you can achieve this without using the yin and yang qi? Omniscient Flaming Man continued to act like a fool. Senior, you are the one who slashed me. Ha ha ha. Little friend Ning, you always like to joke. Why would I slash you out of nowhere? You are not the enemy who took my father away. Omniscient Old Man really did not remember anything. Forget it. I have already understood what Senior wants to impart to me. Although I understand it, I still can't enter the Taiji life and death realm with my own strength. The amount of yin and yang qi needed to achieve this is too huge. I don't know how many years I will need to cultivate such a large amount of yin and yang qi. Ning Fan sighed. What are you afraid of? My senior brother brought you to destroy the sect. Logically speaking, it should be my master who brought you to destroy the sect. But who exactly is my master? Sigh. I can't remember. Destroy the sect. Ning Fan's spirit soul trembled slightly. These two simple words triggered a certain emotion that was hidden deep in his heart. Yes. Destroy the sect. This is the tradition of my two ways sect. Let's leave the earth abyss and take a stroll in the northern heaven. But doesn't Senior have something to do to suppress the Lord Ant? From what Senior said just now, it seems like we can't leave the earth abyss. Otherwise, it will cause the Lord Ant to wake up. Oh my. I accidentally forgot about this matter. What should I do? Since I can't bring you to destroy the sect myself, I can only send someone to bring you there. Who should I send? Brother Xiang is an important part of Yang Feng. Brother Donkey has yet to be fixed. Brother Condor's cultivation base is too weak. Brother Pineapple was eaten by me a few days ago. Brother Pufferfish is at a crucial moment in his cultivation of poison. As for daughter Mud, her curse has just been broken recently. She can't help her much and it's not suitable for her to go to battle. Sure enough, it's better for you to go alone, junior brother. Here. Take this list. Kick all the sects on it aside. Grab all the immortal materials on the list. Not a single one less. Come, let senior brother put a bloody handprint on this list. Do you know what this handprint is? This is called the blood oath. If you don't destroy all the sects, senior brother will violate the blood oath and self-destruct. In order to not let senior brother die, you must destroy all the sects one by one and seize all the heavenly materials and earthly treasures on the list. Ning Fan was speechless. Which senior brother in this world would threaten his junior brother with his own life just to force him to rob something? He had seen all kinds of devils and had rich experience in dealing with all kinds of idiots. However, he was helpless against the omniscient old man. It was not that he did not know how to deal with this idiot. It was just that he could not be ruthless when facing this person. There were many methods that he could not use. Are you kidding me? Why would he go to the northern sky and plunder the sects to protect the life of an unfamiliar old man? Why would he go and offend the entire northern sky on the eve of the second round of the competition? He is sick. Really? What? Who took my hand and put a blood oath on this list? Could it be Hung Jun? What a despicable baldy. You're the #1 expert of the profound gate, but you actually schemed against a nascent soul realm junior like me. You don't even care about the slightest bit of friendship. Hung Jun, you're not worthy to be the master of the revered Saint Defier. Ning Fan held his forehead and sighed. So, it's ancestor Hung Jun's turn to be the scapegoat this time. Why did he feel like laughing at his misfortune? Junior brother, save me. Hung Jun wants to kill senior brother. You can't just watch and do nothing, can you? Go and plunder and protect senior brother's life. Omniscient old man pleaded with tears in his eyes. You won. Ning Fan heaved a heavy sigh and took the list. In a flash, he flew out of the earth abyss. There was absolutely nothing wrong with his sexual orientation. So, this was the first time he went through fire and water for a man. How embarrassing. The moment he flew out of the earth abyss, dozens of cultivators of the Light Clan immediately surrounded him. When they saw that Ning Fan's appearance coincided with the portrait on one of the wanted posters, their expressions turned hostile. Take him down. This person is the person that the water sect wants to capture. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. There was no lack of female cultivators among the cultivators of the Light Clan who surrounded him. As soon as he activated the mind-reading technique, he directly obtained some information from their minds. It turned out that when he was foolishly staying in the earth abyss for omniscient old man to study, the Taoist child of the water sect, Fu Suchen, had actually issued a bounty for him across the entire northern heaven. Kill the person in the painting and you will receive the 3 promises of the water sect. Fu Suchen did not tell the outside world about Ning Fan's identity. It was not important. He also did not promise extra rewards. He just gave the 3 promises of the water sect as a bait. However, this was already more tempting than any reward. What did the 3 promises of the water sect mean? Those who were not immortal emperors could ask the old ancestor of the Xian water sect to help them attain the sovereign realm. Those who were not quasi-saints could ask for help to comprehend the bottleneck of the quasi-saint realm. Even a first-level quasi-saint could ask for help from the water sect. After all, the old ancestor of the water sect was a dignified second-level quasi-saint. Moreover, he was one of the strongest second-level quasi-saints. As long as they kill a nobody like Ning Fan, they would receive the 3 promises of the water sect. With such a great reward, there would naturally be brave men who would be willing to encircle and kill Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes scanned through the name list given by Omniscient. What a coincidence! The Light Clan is actually on the list to plunder as well. If Ning Fan still had some reservations about plundering for no reason in the past, he no longer had any concerns now. Why do others have to bully me but I am not allowed to retaliate? The Light Clan offended me first. Thus, they must pay the price. Of course, seeing that the Light Clan had sent out all their experts to defend the border river for the survival of the Northern Heaven, Ning Fan could show some mercy to the Light Clan in order to preserve his reputation as a hero. However, he still needed to intimidate them. Otherwise, wouldn't everyone in the entire Northern Heaven think that Ning Fan was weak and easy to bully? Unfortunately, his Tao was to fight force with force and fight force with force. Since the other party wanted to kill him, he would retaliate with the same bloody method. A shrewd person would definitely seek revenge for the smallest grievance. Today, I, Ning Fan, am going to the Light Clan to take something. You are blocking my way. Get lost. Ning Fan let out a devil roar. Those cultivators of the Light Clan who were planning to capture him were instantly forced to retreat while coughing out blood. Each of their physical bodies collapsed while they were being pushed back. Only their primordial spirits were not killed. This was showing mercy. If Ning Fan willed it, the destructive power of this roar could directly kill half of the low-level cultivators of the Light Clan. It was a roar that contained the magic power of 17,000 tribulations. As the roar spread out, the mountains and earth within the territory of the Light Clan began to crumble. Countless old monsters of the Light Clan who were in seclusion broke out of their seclusion. Their faces were filled with anger. Of course, those old monsters could sense that the enemy was a quasi-saint with 17,000 tribulations. But so what? They were a dignified secret race. How could any doomsday quasi-saint provoke them? I would like to see which ignorant ant of the dream realm dares to cause trouble for my Light Clan. A coffin suddenly flew out from the depths of the Light Clan's territory. Then, a skinny old man walked out from the coffin. He was a quasi-saint with 11,000 tribulations. Even though his cultivation base was not the highest in the Light Clan, he was extremely experienced. He was an existence who had lived from the Zi-Do immortal region until today. As he was hiding in the heaven-avoiding coffin, this quasi-saint of the Light Clan could not go to the battlefield in the border river. He could only stay behind to guard the clan. Initially, he thought that the so-called staying behind was just to cultivate in seclusion. He did not expect that there would really be a fool in this world who dared to challenge the dignity of the Light Clan. Hee hee. What a reckless fool. I'm not going to ask who you are. I just want to ask you one thing. Are you going to surrender obediently or do you want me to beat you up until you can't move? The old man said arrogantly. He was a quasi-saint of the secret race who had a distinguished identity. There was no need for him to be polite to a nameless quasi-saint in the Doomsday era. Chapter 12:14. The Light Clan was different from the other cultivation clans in the Northern Heaven. The cultivators of this clan would use their surnames first before their given names. Most of the members of this clan had names like Guang or Guang. This quasi-saint of the Light Clan was named after Shintu Guang. In the era of the Zi-Do immortal domain, Shintu Guang was considered a somewhat famous figure. When he was young, he was also ranked in the top 800 of the immortal emperors under Zi-Do. Unfortunately, time was merciless. His immortal lifespan had long been exhausted. Now, he could only linger on in the heaven-avoiding coffin like a cripple. This person was short and skinny like a skinny monkey. The long robe that was woven with light was shining with the pattern of an ancient ape praying to the sun. His appearance was unattractive. Due to the exhaustion of his chi and blood, his chi seemed lifeless. However, his eyes were full of vigor and they shone like the sun. Indistinctly, there was fire burning in his eyes. The moment Ning Fan made eye contact with this person, he felt a burning pain in his eyes. Even though this person was arrogant, he did have some capabilities after all. It's old ancestor Shen Tu. He has made his move. As Shen Tu Guang appeared, cheers immediately resounded in the territory of the Light Clan. Countless cultivators kowtowed to him. There were also tens of giants of the Light Clan who were dressed in yellow scarves. They were carrying a six-edged long hammer that was as large as a small mountain and walked out with difficulty. That long hammer was too damaged. It was unknown how many years it had been through. Its spiritual light was severely damaged. However, it was covered with blood rust and it still gave off a strong killing intent. It was a mid-grade innate magic treasure. Please forgive us, old ancestor. We have spent 300,000 years but we still can't completely repair the immortal shattering hammer. We can only barely restore 60% of its power. The group of yellow scarves apologized. It's all right. 60% of its power is enough to deal with a doomsday quasi-saint. Shen Tu Guang said arrogantly. He took a step forward and his body shone brightly. Within the light, he turned into his 100 zhang tall true body. He held the immortal shattering hammer in his hand and smashed it at Ning Fan. This immortal shattering hammer had the weight of 30 cultivation planets. When it smashed down, the entire starry sky shook violently. It was hard to imagine that Shen Tu Guang, who had exhausted all of his qi and blood, still had the strength to wield such a heavy weapon. Even though his qi and blood were exhausted, he was definitely not weaker than a first-grade immortal stone quasi-saint. In the face of this person's brute force attack, Ning Fan chose to evade it. However, the problem was that he had clearly dodged Shen Tu Guang's giant hammer attack. Yet, for some unknown reason, he was still sent flying. It was as if he was struck by 30 invisible cultivation stars at the same time. That kind of destructive power directly shattered his defense. Without revealing his true form, Ning Fan's physical body was directly destroyed. In an instant, the entire Light Clan was filled with cheers. Too strong. Shen Tu Patriarch only used one strike to kill the invading quasi-sage. This is the consequence of going against the Light Clan. This outsider demi-saint only has this much strength, and yet he dares to speak so arrogantly about stealing the treasures of the Light race? How laughable. Not all the Light Clan cultivators were cheering. Some were puzzled. How strange. Are quasi-sages that easy to kill? Even if Shen Tu Patriarch is very strong, he should not be able to kill his opponent in one strike. Shen Tu Guang narrowed his eyes. Of course, he did not think that Ning Fan could be killed so easily. When he saw Ning Fan's physical body exploding and turning into sawdust that filled the sky, his expression became slightly startled. He finally understood. It's actually the wood clone. When did this person use his clone? I didn't even notice it at all. Could it be that this person actually has the wood title or the wood lord position? Otherwise, it is impossible for me to not sense the chi of his clone. To his surprise, the broken sawdust in the air suddenly gathered together. In an instant, Ning Fan's body was reconstructed and he walked out from the flying sawdust. Of course, it only looked like his body was reconstructed. In reality, Ning Fan's true body was not broken at all. Thus, there was no need to talk about reconstructing it. At the moment when the giant hammer approached him, Ning Fan transformed into the body of the wood demon clone. His entire body hid inside the shell, using the body of the clone to resist the enemy's attack. The wood demon clone can actually be used in this way. This was also a combat technique that Ning Fan had figured out recently. Since he had the divine lattice of wood, it would really be a waste if he did not develop more wood techniques. I didn't expect your attainments in the wood element to be so high. It seems like I have underestimated you in the past. There are indeed good and bad among the doomsday quasi-sages, but you are definitely one of the best among them. It's a pity that your opponent is me. When I was at my peak, I had also defeated some titled and palm sage realm quasi-sages like you. Even though my strength has declined now, it won't be difficult for me to defeat you. You know nothing about the difference in strength between the ancient and current quasi-sages. Even though Shintu Guang was surprised by Ning Fan's wood element technique, he still refused to admit his mistake. You are the one who knows nothing. I'm not a quasi-sage. I'm just an immortal king. Ning Fan shook his head. When he was not strong enough, he would purposely pretend to have a profound cultivation base to deter his enemies. But when he was strong enough, he did not mind revealing his true cultivation base. There was no need for him to pretend anymore. What? You are an immortal king. An immortal king with 17,000 tribulation magic power? Shintu Guang's expression finally changed. A doomsday quasi-sage with superficial magic power was not enough to shock him even if he had cultivated to the palm sage realm. However, an immortal king with 17,000 tribulation magic power was really a little scary. He could already cultivate 17,000 tribulation magic power at the immortal king realm. If he becomes a quasi-sage, how strong would he be? Since when did such a monster appear in the Dharma ending era? Alright. I've already tested your strength. Next, I'm going to seriously challenge your sect. In just a short exchange of blows, Ning Fan had already tested Shintu Guang's strength. On the surface, his immortal smashing hammer looked like a hammer treasure. In reality, the light that the hammer gave off was where its attacks were. It was extremely difficult to dodge the attacks of this hammer. A casual hit from this hammer would be a heavy blow equivalent to 30 stars. Just a single immortal smashing hammer was already not easy to deal with. As a quasi-sage, Shintu Guang certainly had other means. Ning Fan reckoned that if he does not use his trump card, he would probably have to fight a tough battle in order to defeat this person. Then, I'll use my trump card. He was here to challenge the sect. What he wanted was to end the battle as soon as possible and not drag it out slowly with his enemies. Ning Fan did not know what the tradition of the Two Rights sect was. However, he remembered the tradition of the Black Devil sect. Before the Black Devil sect would challenge the sect, they would first smash the sect's gate 3 times to show off their prestige. In a daze, Ning Fan felt like he had returned to the snowstorm in 7 Apricot City, the rain world and the scene when he first challenged the sect with Old Devil. The corners of his mouth curled into a warm smile. However, what he did was not warm at all. He directly summoned the Dao Mountain of the Ant Lord and smashed it at Shintu Guang. Don't worry. I will only smash it 3 times. I won't smash it more than once. Ning Fan's words did not contain any extra emotions. However, in Shintu Guang's ears, it was no different from a great mockery. I will only smash it 3 times. I won't smash it more than once. Do you think you can defeat me with just 3 moves? Ha! What an arrogant junior. He has the same demeanor as me in the past. Shintu Guang was so angry that he laughed. He had always been the one being arrogant. Since when did it become someone else's turn to be arrogant in front of him? I don't care if this brat is a heaven-defying immortal king or not. I don't care if this brat has a boundless future. Today, I will destroy all of this brat's future. Light of heaven and earth, listen to my command. Fuse into my hammer and smash this mountain. This Shintu Guang was really impressive. Even though he was not at the true Light Palm realm, he had barely touched the threshold of the Light Palm realm. He could actually gather the light of heaven and earth with a little bit of the Light Palm realm's power, greatly improving the power of the immortal shattering hammer. At this moment, the immortal shattering hammer seemed to have become even heavier. It had the destructive power of 40 stars. Shintu Guang's true body held the hammer. With a long roar, he soared into the sky and smashed the Dao Mountain heavily. His true body was so majestic. The light around him was so dazzling. His quasi-saint chi was earth-shattering. His clansmen were looking at him with respect. He wanted to smash this mountain into pieces. He wanted to teach Ning Fan a lesson. He wanted to. Oh my god. Wait. Why did my hammer break? Shen Tu Guang's face was filled with shock. When his immortal shattering hammer that weighed 40 stars hit the mountain, it was not Ning Fan's mountain that was broken but his immortal shattering hammer. The immortal shattering hammer was broken. Even if the hammer was damaged and decayed, it should not have broken so easily. That was a mid-grade innate magic treasure. It was not that the immortal shattering hammer was too fragile but Ning Fan's mountain was too hard. It was too heavy. After the Dao mountain smashed the immortal shattering hammer, it continued to smash Shen Tu Guang's body. Shen Tu Guang was in a mess. Shen Tu Guang nearly cursed out loud. He was just lightly smashed by the Dao mountain and blood spurted out from his mouth. He fell from the sky, looking like a defeated rooster. It was as if what was smashing him was not the mountain in front of him but hundreds or thousands of cultivation planets. It's too heavy. What kind of mountain is this? How can it be so heavy? The weight of 100 stars. The weight of 1,000 stars. No. This is not the weight of the material realm but the weight of the Dao. This is the motherfucking Dao mountain. This is the motherfucking Dao mountain of the sage. There is actually a second step cultivator in this world who has mastered the suppressive technique of the sage Dao mountain. What kind of joke is this? Our old ancestor actually couldn't withstand a single blow from that mountain. The entire Light clan fell into a dead silence. Everyone was so shocked that they could not speak. Their faith was shattered to pieces. It's fake. It's fake. I don't believe this is the sage Dao mountain. My senses must be wrong. While falling, Shen Tu Guang forcefully stabilized his body. He let out a furious roar and condensed the light in heaven and earth into a 1,000 zhang light dragon. He stepped on the light dragon and charged towards the Dao mountain in the sky again. Boom! It was the second time he collided with the Dao mountain. It was the second time he coughed out blood after being hit by the Dao mountain and fell from the sky. It's real. Shen Tu Guang was in despair. This motherfucker is really the sage Dao mountain. How could he possibly be a match for the sage Dao mountain? Boom! It was the sound of Shen Tu Guang landing heavily on the ground. Boom 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 boom. It was the sound of the Dao mountain of the Ant Lord falling on the land of the Light clan, creating countless rifts on the land. The first time the Dao mountain fell, it created hundreds of intersecting giant rifts on the land of the Light clan. The second time the Dao mountain fell, the number of rifts increased to thousands. The third time the Dao mountain fell, the entire land of the Light clan was shattered into countless pieces. This was the land of the Light clan after all. No one knew how many powerful protective formation lines there were in the earth vein. Even a second-level quasi-saint of the northern heaven might not be able to destroy this land. However, the land of the Light clan was still smashed into pieces by Ning Fan. Shen Tu Guang was completely powerless to stop all of this. Moreover, if it wasn't because Ning Fan showed mercy, his physical body would have been destroyed. One should know that his physical body and primordial spirit were already like a lamp that had run out of oil. They could not withstand too much damage. If his physical body is destroyed, it was only a matter of time before his primordial spirit perishes. Fellow Daoist, thank you for showing mercy. My Light clan admits defeat. What do you want from our clan? My clan is willing to give it to you. Shen Tu Guang crawled out from the ruins and said bitterly. At the same time, a group of cultivators of the Light clan also crawled out from the ruins. Each of them wore a despondent expression as if they had suffered a heavy blow. However, none of the cultivators of the Light clan died from the impact. Clearly, Ning Fan had perfectly controlled the area where the Dao mountain would fall. Similarly, he had shown mercy. Shen Tu Guang finally decided to admit defeat. The more arrogant his words were just now, the more embarrassed he looked when he admitted defeat. However, he had no choice but to admit defeat. The main forces of the Light clan were fighting in the Boundary River. Those who stayed in the land of the clan were all young people. They were the future of the Light Clan. If I don't admit defeat, am I going to let the enemy destroy the future of the Light Clan? Sigh. This young man came in a menacing manner. I wonder what he wants to snatch. As expected, this young man has his eyes on the traveling light secret scroll, right? Or perhaps, he came for the incomplete scroll of the ancient country's transaction formation that our clan keeps. Even though he admitted defeat, Shen Tuguang still felt his heart ache when he thought that the precious treasure of his clan was going to be snatched away by Ning Fan. Seeing that Shen Tuguang had admitted defeat, Ning Fan no longer attacked him. He casually gave the Ant Lord Dao Shan an order and the latter flew back to the profound Yin world. After that, he took out the list of materials that omniscient old man gave him and read the names carefully. I want 100 Yin light stones. 100 of them. Not a single one less. It was also Ning Fan's first time hearing about something like Yin light stones. It must be a precious immortal material in the true world. As expected, as soon as Shen Tuguang heard that Ning Fan was here to snatch the Yin light stones, he was immediately stunned. Then, his face was filled with grief and indignation. He angrily pointed at Ning Fan's direction, as if he wanted to scold him but could not find the right words. Upon seeing that, Ning Fan frowned slightly. Is this Yin light stone really that important to the Light Clan? Otherwise, why would Shen Tuguang be so angry? You said that you are here to snatch the Yin light stones? Shen Tuguang finally opened his mouth. His tone was filled with anger. Yes. Just for a mere 100 Yin light stones, you smashed my Light Clan into pieces? Because Shen Tuguang was too angry, his tone became a little sharp. Mere? Why didn't you say so earlier? Why didn't you say so earlier? If I knew that you just wanted the Yin light stones, let alone 100, even if it's 1,000 or 10,000, I would still give them to you. I would still give them to you. Just for that worthless thing, you actually destroyed the earth vein of our Light Clan that we had spent several generations to build. It's not worth it to destroy our clan's land. Shen Tuguang lamented. Even if I had told you my purpose in coming here in advance, given your personality, I'm afraid you wouldn't just give it to me, right? As soon as you showed up, you already said that you want to capture me without asking for my name. Ning Fan said disapprovingly. This. Shen Tuguang was speechless for a moment. Indeed, if he did not fight with Ning Fan, he would not know how strong he was. Even if Ning Fan was just a blade of grass, he would not give it to him. Why should the dignified Light Clan lower their head to an outsider? This was a matter of principle and dignity. In the end, Ning Fan obtained more than 100,000 Yin light stones from the Light Clan and returned with a full load. Shen Tuguang watched Ning Fan leave. Only when Ning Fan was so far away that his spirit sense could no longer sense him did he let out a sigh of relief, confirming that Ning Fan had really left. Wait a minute. I seem to have forgotten something important. Who is this peerless expert who can even control the Dao Mountain of the Sage and destroy the land of the Light Clan? Sigh. I've been in seclusion for too long. I actually didn't know that such an outstanding person has appeared in the northern heaven. Does anyone know who he is? Shen Tuguang asked his clansman with a slightly awkward expression. In reply to old ancestors' question, we also don't know who he is. All the cultivators of the Light Clan wore blank expressions. However, there were a few of them who knew Ning Fan. A few of them happened to watch the grand competition of the Black Devil sect and knew that Ning Fan was a cultivator of the Black Devil sect in the northern heaven. A few of them had seen Ning Fan and old ancestor Lei Zhe entering the Light Ancestors' Earth Abyss hand in hand when they were patrolling. As for the others, they knew about Ning Fan through the bounty notice issued by the Water sect. Shen Tuguang sorted out the information he received from various sources and finally had some basic information about Ning Fan. Black Devil sect. Ning Fan. Challenging the sect. Smashing their mountain gate 3 times. I got it. His identity as a member of the Black Devil sect is just a disguise. He's actually a member of the Two Ways sect. No wonder. No wonder he acted so domineeringly and wanted to destroy the land of my clan just to snatch a light stone. However, he obviously has a sense of propriety even though he is domineering. From the beginning to the end, he did not kill anyone from my clan. This is exactly the style of the Two Ways sect in the past. I'm afraid this person isn't a junior in the declining cultivation era but an old monster of the Two Ways sect who has lived since ancient times until today just like me. However, why don't I remember that there's someone called Ning Fan among the famous old monsters of the Two Ways sect? Sure enough, this name is just an alias. Or perhaps even his appearance is a disguise. The reason he purposely disguised himself is probably because this person is someone this old man was familiar with in the past. He was worried about his reputation when he robbed me, so he concealed himself. There's no mistake, it must be so. One more thing. What exactly is this person's cultivation base? Even though he is an immortal king, is it possible for an immortal king to be this powerful? Sure enough, he lied again. He isn't an immortal king at all. Even if this person isn't a second-level quasi-saint, he is definitely one of the strongest existences among the first-level quasi-saints. Humph. Trying to deceive me? No way. Since he's a member of the Two Ways sect and he showed mercy to my clan, I can only let this go. Sigh. Who asked my clan to owe the Two Ways saint karma in the past? We can't possibly kill all of his disciples and descendants, right? Listen up, this matter ends here. No one is allowed to take revenge on this old monster who has changed his name to Ning Fan. This person can be rude but we can't be disrespectful. We must remember the kindness that the Two Ways saint has shown us in the past. In the future, when this person enters the earth abyss of the light ancestor, all of you must treat him as a distinguished guest. Do you understand? Shen Tu Guang ordered the members of the Light Clan with a solemn expression. Shen Tu Guang's words might sound nice, but if it wasn't because Ning Fan's Sage Dao Mountain was too powerful, he might not even care about the kindness that the Two Ways saint had shown him. Understood. The members of the Light Clan nodded incessantly. Take revenge on Ning Fan. Do they have the ability to do so? Do they have a death wish? Even Shin Tu old ancestor who did not know the cultivation base of a sage realm expert was beaten to a pitiful state. As for the bounty orders issued by the Water sect, they were all torn apart by the cultivators of the Light Clan. Do I already have the strength to challenge the secret races? Far away in the starry sky, Ning Fan suddenly stopped in his tracks and sighed. He had once challenged the dark race alone. However, that was just a flattering statement. He did not use his own strength to suppress the entire dark race. Moreover, he was just lucky to defeat Black Rope. This time, however, it was different. He easily defeated Shin Tu Guang and the entire Light Clan. Alright, the main force of the Light Clan's quasi-saint realm was actually not here. However, it was enough to prove that he now had the strength to challenge the secret races. Don't flatter yourself. You didn't use your own strength to suppress the Light Clan at all. You used my Dao Mountain, alright? Besides, you don't even have the cultivation base to control my Dao Mountain. You just used flowery words to deceive the Dao Mountain. You coaxed her into obeying your every order. If you don't use the Dao Mountain, do you still have the ability to suppress the Light Clan? Absolutely not. In his sea of consciousness, the Ant Lord kept making sarcastic remarks. No. Even if I don't use the Dao Mountain, I can still suppress the Light Clan. I still have 3 Saint Lightning Talismans that I haven't used yet. Ning Fan said with a smile. Damn it. Those lightning talismans also belong to me. If you have the guts, you can suppress the Light Clan without using the lightning talismans. The Ant Lord said angrily. What do you mean by yours and mine? Even you are my master's possession. Now that you have entered my master's sea of consciousness, you are his servant. You must remember your identity. This time, the person who spoke was another guest in Ning Fan's sea of consciousness, Yin Ji. How dare you? How dare a mere dust immortal speak so arrogantly? I am a dignified Saint Realm expert. How dare you call me a servant? Even if I am a servant, I will only be Master Hongjuan's servant. The Ant Lord no longer cared about Ning Fan. Instead, she ran to fight Yin Ji. This was the reason why she did not quarrel with Ning Fan recently. Recently, she was busy quarreling with Yin Ji. How would she have the time to care about Ning Fan? Today, she only mocked Ning Fan for a while because of a sudden impulse. Who would have thought that she would start quarreling with Yin Ji after just a few sentences? That's right. I am a dust immortal. However, I am proud. I am proud because I am a dust immortal who was enlightened by a drop of Brother Tear's tear. What about you? You are just an insignificant ant. You are not even as good as me. Yin Ji said proudly. The Brother Tear that she mentioned was naturally that faceless giant. Humph. I am also an ant enlightened by Master Hongjun. I am also proud. I am also proud. My pride is 1,000 times greater than your dust scum. You should know that my master is not someone your Brother Tear can compare to. The Ant Lord argued. You are not allowed to speak ill of Brother Tear. He is 1,000 times stronger than your Master Hongjun. You are not allowed to speak ill of Master. He is 100 million times stronger than your Brother Tear. Shut up. You are the one who should shut up. I will beat you to death. I will fight you to the death. Ning Fan silently blocked the noise in his sea of consciousness. If he hears these two women quarreling every day, how could he calm his mind and do other things? Speaking of which, is this a quarrel between adults? Why does it sound like two children comparing whose father is more powerful? It sounds boring and funny. Ning Fan shook his head and got rid of his distracting thoughts. He took out the list of materials and looked at it. Other than the Light Clan, there were no other quasi-Saint Realm forces on the list. The following materials were all very easy to get. The next force to kick is the Ocean Sand Sect. Their sect master is Great Emperor Ocean Sand, who is at the 6th Tribulation Realm. What I want is 250 grams of extreme Yin Divine Sand, in the Ocean Sand Sect of Northern Heaven. Today was the day when Great Emperor Ocean Sand would face his major heavenly tribulation. He was already very old, but his cultivation base was still stuck at the 6th Tribulation of Eternal Times. He did not dare to advance to the 7th Tribulation. He did not even have 5% confidence in breaking through the 7th Tribulation of Eternal Times. If he forcefully breaks through, he would definitely die. However, Great Emperor Ocean Sand also did not have much confidence in passing the major heavenly tribulation this time. He only had a 30% chance of success, while the remaining 70% would still result in death. The entire Ocean Sand sect was filled with a tense atmosphere. No one knew whether their sect master would succeed or not this time. In the dark, there were a few great sovereigns of the Northern Heaven who were staring at the Ocean Sand sect. If Great Emperor Ocean Sand dies in the heavenly tribulation, the status of the Ocean Sand sect would certainly plummet and fall out of the range of immortal emperor forces. By then, there would be countless great sovereigns of the entire Northern Heaven who would divide the Ocean Sand sect. Why? Why doesn't the sect master pay the price and ask someone to help him pass the tribulation? Wouldn't the success rate be higher that way? At this moment, somewhere in the Ocean Sand sect, a new disciple of the sect asked in confusion. You're a newcomer, so you might not know this. In fact, the sect master was already having trouble passing the major heavenly tribulations in the past few times. All his savings had already been used up. That was why he asked for help and luckily passed the previous few major heavenly tribulations. However, this time, the sect master doesn't have any extra treasures to ask for help. The sect master has gone through the major heavenly tribulations too many times and his strength is already at the final tribulation realm. Without enough compensation, which great sovereign would want to take this risk? Another disciple of the Ocean Sand sect answered. But I heard that true Lord Fu Zhe has said that he is willing to help without any compensation. Why doesn't the sect master agree? That's true Lord Fu Zhe we're talking about, one of the few great sovereigns of the Dharma ending era. With his help, even if it's the final tribulation, it would be easy to pass. Are you stupid? How dare you believe true Lord Fuze's words? Haven't you heard that 10 million years ago, there was also a great sovereign of the northern sky who was facing a difficult tribulation? That person asked true Lord Fuze for help, but when the tribulation came, his primordial spirit was devoured by true Lord Fuze and he died a pitiful death. Great sovereigns are afraid of karma and won't easily step into the mortal world. If they step into the mortal world, they must have some ulterior motives. It's impossible for them to be selfless. What? True Lord Fuze is so untrustworthy. How can he be like this? Doesn't the Four Meridians sect care about this matter? Trustworthy? If he cared about trustworthiness, true Lord Fuze wouldn't be able to cultivate to his current realm. As for the Four Meridians sect, why would they accuse a great sovereign of a dead immortal sovereign for no reason? Shoo, that's a great sovereign of the quasi-sovereigns. He's not someone we can criticize. Let's stop here. Be careful not to bring trouble to the Ocean Sand sect. Yes. We shouldn't talk about it anymore. The two disciples were about to return to their rooms to rest. Suddenly, they saw a black chi rushing towards the starry sky. Their expressions immediately changed. It wasn't just these two disciples. At this moment, the entire Ocean Sand sect was in shock. Not good. Our sect master's final tribulation is here. The timing isn't right. It's a few hours too early. That's the problem. Our sect master can no longer control the timing of the final tribulation. I'm afraid we won't even have a 30% chance of success this time. What should we do? If something happens to our sect master, our Ocean Sand sect will definitely decline. Shut your crow's mouth. Our sect master will be fine. Our sect master will definitely be fine. At this moment, countless elders of the Ocean Sand sect knelt on the ground, sincerely praying for the Ocean Sand Emperor. Their cultivation level was too low and they couldn't enter the tribulation to help. They could only use this method to pray for the heavens to open their eyes and save their sect master. Everyone in the Ocean Sand sect had a glimmer of hope in their eyes, hoping for a miracle to happen. Only the Ocean Sand Emperor himself was filled with despair and death chi, 20%, no, not even 15%. Am I really going to die this time? I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Boom. A black lightning bolt as thick as a bowl suddenly struck down, aiming at the Ocean Sand Emperor's head. There was no time to despair. The Ocean Sand Emperor understood that he had to calm down and focus on the tribulation to increase his chances of survival. Below the 1,000 layers of tribulation clouds, the Ocean Sand Emperor set off monstrous waves, swearing to fight against the heavens again. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. A portal suddenly opened between the 1,000 layers of tribulation clouds. Someone had suddenly entered the tribulation. Seeing this, the Ocean Sand Emperor's face turned ashen. If someone else entered the tribulation, it would cause the power of the tribulation to increase greatly. As expected, because of the sudden appearance of this portal, the power of the Ocean Sand Emperor's tribulation had more than doubled. It was originally unlikely for him to successfully pass the tribulation. Now, he was definitely going to die. My life is over, my life is over. It must be my enemy who wanted to harm me and deliberately sent living beings into my tribulation. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Who is it? Who is the one who wants to harm me? The Ocean Sand Emperor cried out in anger. I'm sorry, I didn't expect fellow Taoists to be in the middle of the tribulation and disturb you. Actually, I'm here to destroy your sect. These heavenly tribulations are really annoying. Forget it. We'll talk about destroying your sect later. It's just a mere tribulation lightning. Why don't you disperse it for me? Ning Fan activated his magic power. The magic power of the 17,000 tribulations was like a raging storm, directly dispersing the 1,000 layers of tribulation clouds of the Ocean Sand Emperor. The Ocean Sand Emperor was so shocked that he could not close his mouth. That was his final tribulation. However, it was directly dispersed by the magic power of the person who came. What a vast amount of magic power! This amount of magic power definitely belonged to a quasi-saint. Moreover, it was not the magic power that ordinary quasi-saints could possess. The person who came was actually an expert among the first-level quasi-saints. Master, these tribulation lightning are all final tribulation lightning. Can you feed them to the Tao destruction lightning nascent soul? It'll be a waste to disperse them for nothing. Black Devil's request suddenly appeared in Ning Fan's mind. Sure. Then, Ning Fan did another shocking thing. He summoned the Tao destruction lightning nascent soul and devoured the scattered tribulation lightning power. The Ocean Sand Emperor rubbed his eyes in disbelief. That was the Tao destruction lightning nascent soul, a first-class existence among the souls of the heavenly Tao. Why would it obey a cultivator's words like a servant? Even a quasi-saint would not be able to make the Tao destruction lightning nascent soul yield to him. This was too fake. It was not real at all. Thank you, Senior, for helping me transcend my tribulation. I will never forget your great kindness. If Senior has any request, I will definitely obey it. After all, the Ocean Sand Emperor was an old man who had lived for countless years. Even though he was surprised by the capabilities of the person who came, he would not forget his manners. The tens of thousands of disciples of the Ocean Sand sect knelt down and thanked Ning Fan profusely. The miracle they prayed for had happened. Ning Fan is a good person. He's the benefactor who saved the entire Ocean Sand sect. Now, it was Ning Fan's turn to feel awkward. He came to destroy the sect, alright? How did he accidentally become the benefactor of the entire Ocean Sand sect? Under such an atmosphere, how was he going to snatch the treasures? One should never hit a smiling person, alright. I really didn't come to help you. Ning Fan wanted to explain. Even though in such an atmosphere, the other party would probably be willing to give him the items he wanted even if he asked directly, it would not be in line with the tradition of the Two Forms sect. If the old devil finds out about it, he would definitely be angry. Senior, you're really great when you don't expect to be repaid for your kindness. The Ocean Sand Emperor shed tears of gratitude. The entire Ocean Sand sect was also moved to tears. But I don't have any reason to help you. Ning Fan felt even more troubled. That's right. Senior obviously doesn't have any reason to help me. Why do you want to help me transcend my tribulation? The Ocean Sand Emperor was stunned. Then, he slapped his white-haired forehead and understood everything. He looked at Ning Fan's face in disbelief. He only looked at Ning Fan's face. He could not recognize Ning Fan's appearance. However, why did he find Ning Fan's eyes so familiar? Plop. This time, the Ocean Sand Emperor directly knelt down in front of Ning Fan. Senior Zhao Jian. It's you. I can't be wrong. It's you. You saved me once in the desolate mountain. Today, you actually saved me again. I've been reborn twice. What did I do to deserve such kindness from Senior? Reason? No need. It's because you're Senior Zhao Jian. Because you're the benevolent and righteous Senior Zhao Jian. As long as your heart is kind, you can sacrifice yourself to save others. You never need a reason to save others. Your nobility makes us cultivators blush with shame. It turned out that the Ocean Sand Emperor had participated in the battle in the desolate mountain and was once saved by Ning Fan, who was possessed by the eyeball monster. He really could not think of a reason why an expert like Ning Fan would save him. Thus, he came up with a reason by chance. What was even more coincidental was that he actually guessed it correctly. Ning Fan was really Zhao Jian. What he said directly exposed Ning Fan's identity that he had been hiding for many years. Ning Fan was speechless. How could he not be speechless? All of the Ocean Sand Emperor's reasoning and logic were wrong. However, he was right in the end. There was actually such a thing in this world. Could it be that Senior isn't old ancestor Zhao Jian? Could it be that I've guessed wrongly? The Ocean Sand Emperor was actually not very sure. When he saw Ning Fan hesitate, he immediately knew that things were not going well. It would be too impolite of him to guess Ning Fan's identity wrongly. Ning Fan sighed. He could keep Zhao Jian's identity a secret. However, if the Ocean Sand Emperor recognizes him, he would not bother to lie. Currently, he already had enough strength to protect himself. Even if he reveals some of his secrets, he would not bring trouble to himself. You've guessed it right. The person who saved you in the desolate mountain is indeed me. No wonder I felt that you look familiar. It turns out that I've met you in the desolate mountain. It's really Senior Zhao Jian. Come, my children. Kowtow to Senior Zhao Jian. Our old ancestor has been relying on Senior Zhao Jian to survive until now. If one kowtow isn't enough, you have to kowtow 100 times or even 1,000 times. The Ocean Sand Emperor shed tears of gratitude again after hearing Ning Fan's words. The atmosphere in the Ocean Sand sect became even more harmonious. Ning Fan was even more reluctant to rob them. It was extremely awkward, in a dark place. A few immortal emperors who wanted to plot against the Ocean Sand sect were so frightened that they could not speak a word. I'm not wrong. It's fine if he can destroy the heavenly tribulation with just a raise of his hand. What's more important is that he can actually control the Tao extermination lightning nascent soul, which is the soul of the heavenly Tao. How can someone who isn't a great cultivator from the ancient times do that? 17,000 tribulations certainly isn't the limit of his magic power. He only used a small amount of magic power to destroy the heavenly tribulation here. He's a great cultivator from the ancient times. I didn't expect the Ocean Sand sect to be acquainted with Zhao Jian, a great cultivator from the ancient times. The world actually doesn't know about such important information. It's laughable that we are still acting recklessly and still want to plot against the Ocean Sand sect. Although that Zhao Jian is ignoring us now, he will certainly come to us one by one to punish us later. When that time comes, our sect will certainly be annihilated. Leave now. Come and apologize to Senior Zhao Jian with gifts. Otherwise, our sect will surely be annihilated. On this day, news after news once again shocked the entire ancient circle of the northern heaven. Shocking. Zhao Jian, a great cultivator from the ancient times, suddenly appeared in the Ocean Sand sect. He selflessly saved people without asking for anything in return. Shocking. A great cultivator destroyed the heavenly tribulation with just a lift of his hand. Who can compete with him? Shocking. The last pure land of the cultivation world. I, Zhao Jian, am the only one who does good every day. Shocking. Even the Tao Destruction Lightning Infant would shed tears when it heard this. It was touched and thus recognized its master. Those immortal emperors of the northern heaven who had been saved by Zhao Jian could no longer sit still. Nearly 100 immortal emperors, immortal kings and immortal venerables rushed to the Ocean Sand sect with gifts. They wanted to pay their respects to the legendary great cultivator from the ancient times. Last time, Ning Fan left the Pure Yang sect after visiting it, causing many people who wanted to pay their respects to the great cultivator to return empty-handed. This time, however, it was different. Ning Fan was forcefully made to stay by the Ocean Sand Emperor. He must invite Ning Fan to a banquet that lasted for 10 days. Now, all those who wanted to pay their respects to Ning Fan went straight to the Ocean Sand sect. What happened to the sect that I promised? How am I supposed to do it now? Now, every member of the Ocean Sand sect kneels on the ground and thanks me profusely when they see me. I can't do it. Ning Fan really did not know whether to laugh or cry. He had already explained to the Ocean Sand Emperor 100 times that he was not a good person. However, the Ocean Sand Emperor did not believe him. Chapter 12:15. The kindness of a drop of water should be repaid with a gushing spring, not to mention the great kindness of saving his life twice. Even though Ocean Sand Great Emperor was not a kind person, he was not an ungrateful person after all. He was willing to use all of his life savings to repay Ning Fan's kindness of saving his life. He wanted to use the best sea wine and the fattest spiritual fish in the ocean sand sect to entertain Ning Fan for 10 days. Unfortunately, Ning Fan did not have the time to stay in the ocean sand sect for long. He was destined not to participate in the banquet for 10 days. Facing the hospitable ocean sand sect, Ning Fan really felt a sense of helplessness. However, even though he felt helpless, he must kick this sect. No matter how grateful and respectful they were, he must harden his heart and kick this ocean sand sect once. There was no other way. This matter was not only related to the tradition of the Black Devil sect but also the life of the omniscient old man. One should know that the omniscient old man had pressed down the seal of an oath for this absurd matter. If Ning Fan did not kick all the sects on the list of materials one by one and obtain the items on the list through trickery, only God knows whether the omniscient old man would pay a heavy price for the oath. After weighing the two options, Ning Fan could only apologize to the Ocean Sand sect. He must kick this sect. However, there were many ways to trample on a sect. For enemies, he would kick them hard. For people like the Ocean Sand Great Emperor who had no enmity with him, he could kick them a little more gently. He would not smash the entire Ocean Sand sect into a state of ruin like the Light Clan. I am really not the good person you said. I will say it for the last time. I am not here to save you. I am here to kick a sect. Ning Fan hid his helpless smile and pretended to be cold. Kick a sect? Senior has said this for 800 times. However, this junior knows that Senior is just joking with me. Hee hee. Senior is really humorous. As soon as he finished speaking, Ocean Sand Great Emperor turned around and said to his disciples. Children, Senior is telling us a joke to make us happy. Let's laugh together. Whoever doesn't laugh is not giving face to Senior and not giving face to me, Sha Xianglong. Humph. Seventh brother Lu, why don't you laugh? Are you looking down on Senior's jokes? You are asking for a beating. And you, Su Sifeng. I know that you are practicing the Zen of crying. Once you laugh, you will break through 10,000 years of bitter cultivation. But even so, you have to laugh. You have to give face to Senior. You can't embarrass Senior. Along with the Sea Sand Emperor's order, the entire Sea Sand sect suddenly turned into a sea of laughter, even though most of the cultivators felt that Ning Fan's joke was not funny. Forget it, I don't want to explain anymore. Ning Fan waved his hand, stopping the banquet. He didn't want to waste any more words with Sea Sand Emperor. He had to harden his heart and finish his business quickly. He didn't want to be forced to stay here for some banquet. He leaped into the air and stood high in the starry sky. His cold eyes looked down at the Sea Sand School below him. A vast amount of spiritual power swept out and a murderous aura locked down the entire Sea Sand School. Alright, that cold gaze was all an act. Even if this matter was related to the life of omniscient old man, with Ning Fan's character, he would not really be able to treat everyone in the Sea Sand sect coldly. Respect for a foot, he would return 10 feet. The entire Ocean Sand sect worshipped him as if he was their ancestor. This time, he was the one who owed the Ocean Sand sect. Forget it, forget it. After saving Senior Omniscient, I will make it up to the Sea Sand sect in the future. Dan Fragmentation Cauldron, fall for me. Because he didn't really want to destroy the Sea Sand sect, Ning Fan did not use a heaven-defying item like the Ant Lord's Dao Mountain. He only used the Dan Fragmentation Cauldron, which was not that powerful. The Dan Fragmentation Cauldron was Old Monster's magical treasure. It had already been refined by Ning Fan's medicine soul and merged with it. At this moment, the Dan Fragmentation Cauldron he summoned was naturally not a real thing. It was an illusory medicine soul that emitted golden light. Using a 9th Revolution Golden Grade medicine soul to destroy an immortal emperor sect would cause almost no damage. Only then could Ning Fan feel less ashamed. The surface of the medicine soul of all gold core pill masters would be coated with a layer of gold. Using a medicine soul to form a cauldron, the cauldron would naturally be coated with gold. However, this was not the true color of Ning Fan's medicine soul. If one looked carefully, they would discover that there were actually 5 colors hidden under the Dan fragmentation cauldron. Those 5 colors were the influence of the 5-colored medicine soul. There were also many illusory butterflies floating on the cauldron. Those butterflies were the form of Ning Fan's medicine soul. Following Ning Fan's order, the Dan fragmentation cauldron fell towards a certain place in the Si San school where there was no one. Senior, you really want to destroy the school? Great Emperor Si San's expression changed. At this moment, everyone in the Si San school finally believed Ning Fan's intention. But so what? Great Emperor Si San regained his warm smile very quickly. He did not care whether Ning Fan really wanted to destroy the school or not. He only cared about one thing, and that was that Ning Fan had indeed saved his life twice. He firmly believed that Ning Fan did not have any malicious intentions towards him and the Si San school. If he had any malicious intentions, with Ning Fan's unfathomable cultivation base, it would be as easy as flipping his hand to destroy the Si San school. Why would he waste so much time talking nonsense with him? Why would he use a cauldron that was not that powerful to destroy the school where there was no one? It was obvious that he was just smashing it for fun. For fun. That's right. Why didn't I think of this? Great Emperor Si San instantly blamed himself and sighed towards the sky. So that's how it is. That's how it is. I originally thought that Senior Zhao Jian's hobby is to tell boring jokes. That's why he strictly ordered his disciples to laugh along. Unexpectedly, Senior's hobby is not that at all. His true hobby is to destroy the school for fun. Destroying the school as a hobby is certainly a little weird. However, it's not like I haven't seen old monsters with weirder hobbies. This is not surprising at all. The one who is wrong is not Senior. It's me. It's me. I said that I wanted to thank Senior and invite Senior to a banquet. However, I didn't even find out Senior's hobby in advance and hastily arranged the banquet. It's no wonder that Senior is not interested in the banquet for 10 days. If I knew that Senior wanted to destroy the school, why would Senior need to do it personally? Naturally, there will be servants to do it for you. As long as I can liven things up for Senior, a mere school is nothing. In ancient times, in order to win a beauty's smile, they did not hesitate to play with the warlords. Sha Xianglong, in order to win a smile from Senior, what does it matter if I sacrifice a school? This analogy seems a little inappropriate. Forget it. It's not important. What's important is Senior. Senior. At this moment, Great Emperor Si San seemed to have really become Ning Fan's fanatic believer. Even if Ning Fan destroys the world, he would fill in the gaps and find a proper reason for Ning Fan. Children. Why are you still in a daze? Quickly cheer for Senior. Beautiful. That cauldron smashed beautifully. Old Fifth Xiao, why are you still in a daze? Quickly comprehend the changes of the medicine soul in the cauldron. Aren't you at the critical moment of breaking through to the 9th Revolution Pill Master realm? Senior Zhao Jian used a 9th Revolution Golden Grade medicine soul. If you can comprehend a thing or two from it, it will be of great benefit to you. Of course, don't forget to applaud. Do you understand? Qin Bian. I asked you to cheer for Senior. Why aren't you applauding? How dare you disobey my orders? All right. I've been in seclusion recently to wait for the tribulation. I forgot that your hands were chopped off by the immortal king of the alien race when you were exterminating the invasion of the alien race a few days ago. Your ability to speak was sealed. Now, you can't applaud or speak. But you can squeeze out a happy expression. Senior will only be happy when he sees that you are happy. Do you understand? Hurry up. Senior is going to smash the 3rd cauldron. Judging from Senior's action of withdrawing his strength, this will be the last one. Therefore, it is also the most crucial one. Everyone held their breaths and carefully comprehended the cauldron. Don't miss this cauldron. Senior is an ancient great cultivator. A casual strike of his contains a supreme Tao law. If you can comprehend half a trace of it, it will be a great fortune. That is. Hiss. What is going on? Why is there the roar of a cloud-life beast below the mountain gate? A moment ago, Great Emperor Hai Sha was still shouting and encouraging his disciples to cheer for Ning Fan's action of destroying the sect. In the next moment, his expression suddenly changed to one of shock, and there was even a trace of fear on his face. The ground of the mountain gate that was smashed by Ning Fan's Dan fragmentation cauldron suddenly broke open. Tens of thousands of rays of cloud light leaked out from under the ground. Within the cloud light, there were continuous roars of beasts. Those were the roars of a cloud-life beast. There was actually a cloud-life beast hidden at the mountain gate that Ning Fan had smashed. Coincidentally, its original form was revealed by Ning Fan's cauldron and it had no choice but to reveal itself. As soon as they saw the cloud-life beast, not only Great Emperor Hai Sha was shocked, everyone in the Si San sect was astonished. One should know that the cloud-life beast was not a demon beast of the northern heaven. It was a strange beast that lived in the northern heaven's boundary river. It was one of the alien races in the northern heaven. The cloud-life beast race was not the strongest race among the alien races in the northern heaven, but it was the race that was best at concealing secret techniques. Rumor has it that even if a young cloud-life beast's cultivation base was not high, it could still hide from the detection of true immortals using its cloud light. Once an adult cloud-life beast uses its cloud technique, it could prevent immortal emperors from detecting its presence. If its cloud technique reaches the perfection realm, even quasi-sages would find it difficult to detect its presence. Cloud-life beasts were born scouts. Not only did the alien races invade the northern heaven through the ancient devil sect, they also secretly sent a large number of cloud-life beasts to spy on the northern heaven. Great Emperor Hai Sha did not expect that there would be a cloud-life beast hidden in his own sect. No, this is not an ordinary cloud-life beast. Judging from the number of cloud marks on its body, it is actually a cloud-life beast that has attained grand completion in its cloud technique. Its strength is comparable to a sixth tribulation immortal emperor. There was actually an immortal emperor of an alien race lurking beside his bed. However, Great Emperor Hai Sha did not notice it in advance. How could he not be shocked? One should know that he was undergoing the great heavenly tribulation just now. Ning Fan's arrival was just an accident. What if Ning Fan did not come? If Ning Fan did not come, he would not have much hope of successfully overcoming the heavenly tribulation. Even if he was lucky enough to succeed, this cloud-life beast that was lurking here would probably take advantage of his weakened state to launch a sneak attack on him. So that's why. That's why. No wonder Senior Zhao Jian wanted to destroy my sect for no reason. It turns out that he didn't do it for fun. Instead, he wanted to destroy this cloud-life beast. He wants to eliminate this enemy for my Si San sect. What a warm-hearted person he is. Great Emperor Hai Sha was extremely touched. The tens of thousands of disciples of the Si San sect were also touched. They were ashamed. They were despicable. They actually mistakenly thought that Ning Fan was just having fun by destroying their sect. They used the heart of a villain to gauge the heart of a gentleman. What's going on? There is actually an immortal emperor of an alien race hiding here. I actually did not notice it in advance. This beast's concealment technique is really too heaven-defying. At this moment, Ning Fan felt both speechless and astonished. He really just wanted to destroy the sect. He really did not know that he would accidentally create an immortal emperor of an alien race by simply smashing the pill cauldron. He is really a bad person. However, looking at the expressions of the people of the Si San sect, they obviously did not believe it. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. When did such a person appear in the northern heaven? This person can see through my cloud transformation technique. Could it be that he is really an ancient great cultivator like what Si San Emperor said? Otherwise, how could he do this? In the sky filled with clouds, the cloud-life beast's form suddenly changed. It turned from a beast into a half-beast half-human form and spoke human language. At this moment, this cloud-life beast immortal emperor's face was filled with fear. It had not been 3 to 5 days since he hid in the sea sand sect. A few months ago, there was a beast tide near the sea sand sect. It was at that time that he took advantage of the beast tide and teleported to this place from the northern world river. His cloud technique had already reached the cloud transformation realm for millions of years. In his clan, he was one of the top 3 experts in cloud techniques. His Dao name was Cloud Freak. Occasionally, there would be some low-grade cloud-life beasts who were discovered by others hiding in the northern heaven. However, no one had ever noticed the existence of Cloud Freak. Sea Sand Emperor even knew nothing about it. The purpose of sending low-grade cloud-life beasts to the northern heaven was to gather information. However, a top-grade cloud-life beast like Cloud Freak was different. His mission was not to gather information but to assassinate. Relying on his immortal emperor realm cultivation base and heaven-defying concealment technique, he would look for opportunities to assassinate the immortal emperor of the northern heaven and weaken the overall strength of the northern heaven. Sea Sand Emperor was the first assassination target he looked for. According to his plan, if Sea Sand Emperor succeeds in overcoming the heavenly tribulation, he would take advantage of his weakness to launch a sneak attack. If he fails, it would naturally be easier. Unexpectedly, Ning Fan would suddenly appear and help Sea Sand Emperor overcome the great heavenly tribulation. Now, Cloud Freak's assassination plan was completely ruined. What made it worse was that Ning Fan had not left yet. He did not dare to act rashly as he was worried that he would cause a commotion when he leaves which would attract Ning Fan's attention. Thus, he simply continued to hide in the Sea Sand sect. Cloud Freak was deeply shocked by the profound magic power Ning Fan displayed when he destroyed the heavenly tribulation. However, he still did not believe that he was an ancient great cultivator. Why not? Because other than being good at concealment, the cloud life beasts were also good at reading people's faces and finding out their bone age. How could Cloud Freak not see through Ning Fan's bone age? This person's bone age was less than 200,000 years. How could he be an ancient great cultivator? Even though he was not an ancient great cultivator, his magic power of 17,000 tribulations could not be faked. This matter also made Cloud Freak speculate. In the end, he did not dare to act rashly. He firmly believed that as long as he hid patiently and did not take the initiative to expose himself, Ning Fan would definitely not be able to detect his existence. He could wait until Ning Fan leaves the Sea Sand sect and then secretly leave this place to find his next assassination target. However, Cloud Freak did not expect Ning Fan to be able to see through his cloud transformation technique. One had to know that the cloud manifestation art was something that not everyone could see through, even if it was an ancient grand cultivator. From Cloud Freak's point of view, since Ning Fan could see through his technique, how could he just be an ancient great cultivator? He might even be one of the most powerful ancient great cultivators. When did such a person appear in the northern heaven? Run! I must run. I must send this person's information back to the northern border river. With such an expert in the northern heaven camp, it was definitely enough to affect the situation of the northern heaven. 8,000 Li Cloud and Moon. As soon as Cloud Freak appeared, he chanted an incantation and turned into a wisp of cloud light to escape. You can't run away. Ning Fan had killed so many foreign races in the eastern border river. How could he not see through Cloud Freak's identity? He was a cultivator of the eastern heaven. Strictly speaking, the war between the foreign races in the northern heaven had nothing to do with the cultivators of the eastern heaven. However, who asked him to have the intention to get involved in this matter? Now that he had bumped into this unlucky immortal emperor, there was no reason for him to let him go. Besides, he was also very interested in Cloud Freak's concealment technique. It was quite a heaven-defying concealment technique. Even he did not notice it at all. If he did not insist on destroying the sect, he definitely would not know that such a cloud-life beast was hiding in this place. Even though Ning Fan did not have the ability to see through Cloud Freak's concealment technique, since he had already shown himself, he was definitely not his opponent. How much effort would it take to kill a 6th Tribulation Immortal Emperor? It was not necessary. The shadow of a tree in Ning Fan's right eye floated. He activated his illusion technique and instantly pulled Cloud Freak into the illusory world of the immemorial rainy night. In the illusory world, a long time passed. In the real world, however, only an instant passed. In this extremely short period of time, Ning Fan easily killed a 6th Tribulation Immortal Emperor in an instant under the dumbfounded expression of everyone including Sea Sand Emperor. To Ning Fan, killing an immortal emperor in an instant was not something praiseworthy. However, in the eyes of others, it was undoubtedly a shocking feat. What was an immortal emperor? Immortal emperors were the peak existences in the Age of Chaos. They were the dream of countless Vipralopa stage cultivators. However, this dream did not live for more than an instant in Ning Fan's hands. This blow was not small at all. If this matter were to spread, the entire northern heaven would probably be shaken again. The fall of an immortal emperor was definitely not a small matter. Is this the strength of an ancient great cultivator? He can even kill an immortal emperor with just a wave of his hand. The disciples of Sea Sand's sect had different expressions. Some of them were shocked out of their wits. Some of them looked at Ning Fan with even more respect and admiration. Sea Sand Emperor was still fine. After all, he was a person who had experienced the great chaos in the desolate world. In the past, he could not even survive for a second in the hands of old ancestor Enmo. He had to rely on Ning Fan to save his life. Immortal emperors were supreme. He had long discarded that old idea. Thus, he was the first person to recover from the shock. Plop. Sea Sand Emperor knelt in front of Ning Fan again. Thank you, Senior, for eliminating a great enemy for my Sea Sand sect. This junior has no way to repay Senior's kindness. I only wish to worship Senior's Tower of Luck for the rest of my life and add some luck to Senior. Plop. Plop. More disciples of Sea Sand's sect knelt in front of Ning Fan. If it wasn't for Ning Fan who got rid of the cloud monster, who knows what kind of massacre this immortal emperor of a foreign race would have caused in the Sea Sand sect. They knew how to be grateful. They knew how to repent. Before this, they had misunderstood that Ning Fan really wanted to destroy the sect. They were not human. They were not human. You don't have to thank me. This is just a misunderstanding. Forget it. I'm too lazy to explain. Anyway, you won't believe me. Just think whatever you want. The cauldron had fallen 3 times. The ceremony of destroying the sect has come to an end. Now, I'm going to rob something from you. I want 1/2 kilogram of divine Yin sand. Are you going to give it to me or not? Ning Fan was too lazy to pretend to be cold and indifferent. Divine Yin sand? Why would Senior want such a worthless thing? Sea Sand Emperor was stunned. Then, his eyes were filled with tears. He was even more touched. He understood it. He understood it again. Ning Fan had done a great favor for the Sea Sand sect. However, he only asked for 1/2 kilogram of sand in return. What he asked for was not the return itself but to cut off karma. He did not want to have anything to do with the Sea Sand sect. Was the karma of an ancient great cultivator so easy to owe? If they owed Ning Fan karma, who knows if the Sea Sand sect would be implicated by the heavens and be destroyed when Ning Fan gets involved in some kind of danger in the future. However, if they cut off the karma, it would be different. In the future, even if Ning Fan gets into trouble, the Sea Sand sect would not be implicated by the heavenly Tao. Senior is afraid that you will implicate us when you get into trouble in the future. That's why you took the initiative to ask for 1/2 kilogram of sand in order to protect our lives. Senior. Senior. What kind of kindness is this? You even took into consideration the karma in the future. What did this junior do to deserve Senior's care? This junior is ashamed. This junior is ashamed. Sea Sand Emperor was an old man with white hair. At this moment, he was crying like a child. How many years had it been? He had never experienced the warmth of the human world. Other than his parents when he was a mortal, it had been too many years since he had experienced care and love. His inner heart had already been turned numb and selfish by the bloody sea of cultivation. However, at this moment, there was a trace of warmth. It was the warmth that Ning Fan gave him. It was a warmth that only humans could feel. Originally, he avoided breaking through the seventh eternal tribulation like a snake or a scorpion. However, at this moment, he suddenly felt a trace of fear. Perhaps it was because his current state of mind was close to the Tao, he actually felt that there was a slight chance of breaking through the seventh eternal tribulation in this life. Therefore, even the slight hope of breaking through the seventh eternal tribulation in this life was given by Ning Fan, wasn't it? Shouldn't he repay Ning Fan 100 or 1,000 times more? However, Ning Fan did not need his repayment. Ning Fan only wanted half a kilogram of sand. What kind of noble character and unquestionable integrity was this? Why are you still crying? Could it be that this lunar divine sand is actually that precious to you? Ning Fan was a little troubled. Even though he cared about Senior Omniscient's life, he was not willing to cause too much harm to Sea Sand Emperor because of this matter. What should he do now? While he was still thinking of a solution, Sea Sand Emperor had already ordered people to bring over a few hundred carrying poles of the lunar divine sand. Ning Fan knew that he was thinking too much. The lunar divine sand was actually not that valuable. After all, Sea Sand Emperor could easily take out a few hundred carrying poles of it. I only need half a kilogram of sand. Ning Fan signaled Sea Sand Emperor to take back the excess lunar divine sand. When Sea Sand Emperor saw that, he was even more touched. He insisted that Ning Fan take away all the sand. Otherwise, he would feel guilty about his Tao heart. Forget it. I'll just take all of them then. I don't want to leave a shadow in your Tao heart in the future and blame me for it. Senior obviously didn't want to take more, but for the sake of our feelings, you went against your conscience. What kind of noble character and unquestionable integrity is this? What kind of, without waiting for Sea Sand Emperor to say more flattering words, Ning Fan had already left. If he still did not leave, he would really be tortured by Sea Sand Emperor and the others. What a bunch of fools. Talking to fools is really too tiring. However, he unexpectedly did not hate fools like them. It was probably because there were more and more fools gathering around him. Which sect should I kick next? Let me take a look. In the starry sky, Ning Fan paused for a moment. He took out the list of materials and looked at it. Then, he continued his journey. Half a day later, there were old monsters of the northern heaven who rushed to the Sea Sand sect through various kinds of transdomain teleportation formations. They wanted to see the glory of the ancient great cultivator, Zhao Jian. Unfortunately, when they arrived, Ning Fan had already left. They did not have the chance to meet him. This was exactly what it meant when they said that they were not fated to meet each other. If that was the case, Ning Fan was actually fated to meet Sea Sand Emperor. Otherwise, how could he coincidentally encounter the other party's tribulation? It was absolutely impossible to say that there was no karma between them. Even if it was not the karma of this life, it could be the karma of the previous life. Even if it was not the karma of this life, it could also be the karma of other lives. The heavenly Tao was boundless. Karma was even more complicated. The more one thought that they understood, the more they did not understand. The more confused they felt, the closer they were to the root of the problem. Ning Fan thought that he was the kind of person who did not understand. Because he did not understand, he was too lazy to think deeply about it. Even if he did, it might not be correct. Perhaps it was because Ning Fan's reputation had spread across the entire northern heaven. His next action of kicking the sects was terrifyingly smooth. In the Void Thunder sect. As soon as Ning Fan arrived at the sect master of the Void Thunder sect was pleasantly surprised. He immediately exposed Ning Fan's purpose of visit. Are you Senior Zhao Jian? Yes. Sure enough. It's the unparalleled benevolent and righteous Senior Zhao Jian. Senior, are you here to kick the sect? The sect master of the Void Thunder sect asked with great joy. Yes. Ning Fan was puzzled. Why was the other party so happy when he came to kick the sect? Heaven has taken pity on me. Senior is actually willing to come to this junior's small immortal venerable sect to kick the sect. This junior is really fortunate. Then, can this junior make a small request before you kick the sect? The sect master of the Void Thunder sect fell to his knees with a thud. I'm here to kick the sect. I'm not here to help others. Ning Fan felt that the other party had misunderstood him. Yes. Senior is here to kick the sect. This junior understands. To be honest, this junior was once injured by the enemy's secret treasure. The remaining poison in my body is difficult to get rid of. Only a mighty immortal emperor can treat me. Even though it isn't life-threatening, I have to suffer the pain of having my soul poisoned every day. It's so painful that I want to die. Senior, please show mercy and use your power to save this junior. When the day comes, this junior is also willing to offer you the Tower of Luck, 10 carriages of heavenly jade and 100 pieces of green crystals as thanks. By the way, I haven't asked what senior is here to snatch. If there's anything you need, this junior will also give it to you. As soon as the sect master of the Void Thunder sect finished speaking, he kept kowtowing. Obviously, even though he said that he understood, he actually did not understand it at all. However, who asked him to be so polite to Ning Fan? Ning Fan was someone who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force, therefore, the development of the matter had completely gotten out of Ning Fan's control. While kicking the sect, Ning Fan helped the sect master of the Void Thunder sect get rid of the pain of having his soul poisoned. It was just a piece of cake for an immortal emperor. With his vast magic power, he helped the sect master in less than 100 breaths. After that, under the grateful voices of the tens of thousands of disciples of the Void Thunder sect, he casually smashed the Void Thunder sect 3 times. After that, he not only obtained the items he needed but also a large number of gifts as thanks. Sun sect. As soon as Ning Fan said that he wanted to kick a sect, the sect master of the Sun sect immediately cried tears of joy. He knelt on the ground and begged Ning Fan to help him complete the sacrificial ceremony. He wanted to pray to the heavens for a son to be the successor of the sect. What the hell? Why did he look for me when he wanted to have a son? However, it was just a piece of cake for him, and the other party even kowtowed to him 3 times and 9 times, Zhu Guangzong. As soon as he saw Ning Fan arrive unexpectedly, the sect master of Zhu Guangzong knelt down and cried loudly, begging Ning Fan to help him find the desolate grave of his ancestor. All right. Ning Fan's Tao of divination was not bad. His perception of the rain technique was also first-rate. It was not difficult for him to find a desolate grave in the vast northern heaven. However, the problem was, why did Sun Long Dianxue also come to find him? He was going to kick a sect. Half a month later, Ning Fan finally finished kicking all the sects in the northern heaven. Unlike what he imagined, he did not have a peerless devil reputation. Instead, his reputation was spread far and wide. Of course, it was not Ning Fan's name that was spread far and wide. Instead, it was the name of the ancient great cultivator, Zhao Jian. In the past, even though the name Zhao Jian was deeply worshipped by the immortal emperors of the northern heaven, it was just a flower in the mirror and the moon in the water. Not all of them knew about Zhao Jian's noble character and unquestionable integrity. However, this time, the entire northern heaven recognized Senior Zhao Jian's noble character. Whether it was the mortal planets or the cultivation planets, Ning Fan's touching deeds were being spread everywhere. However, it turned out that there were more and more fanatical followers of Zhao Jian like the Sea Sand Emperor. They could not wait to spread Ning Fan's deeds across the entire northern heaven. As a result, when Ning Fan returned to the omniscient old man's side, his face was dark even though he had completed all the tasks. He did not care about his reputation, but he was disgusted by deceiving the world. Even if this kind of thing happened to him and it was beneficial to him, he still felt uncomfortable. Senior is called omniscient. Of course, there is nothing that you don't know. This junior originally thought that it was a crazy decision for you to ask me to go to the northern heaven to challenge the sections. That's why I was worried that I might endanger your life if things go wrong. Now, it seems like this was premeditated by you. You deliberately used this to trick me and make me famous in the world. Only now did this junior realize that the materials that senior required were all worthless things. With your family's wealth, even if you don't have all of these things, it's also impossible for you to lack them. Besides, there are many things that you don't need to challenge the sections. You can buy them in the slightly bigger markets and trading planets in the northern heaven. However, you just want me to go and challenge the sections. It's a waste of effort. Are you trying to trick this junior? As soon as Ning Fan saw the omniscient old man, he said with a half-angry half-smile. He was so angry that he laughed. How could he not be angry after being tricked and deceived by others? However, the omniscient old man did not have any ill intentions. Thinking about it made him not know whether to laugh or cry. Hee hee. Silly junior brother, you finally got it right for once. Senior brother is really teasing you. The traditions of our Yin and Yang sect are not all good traditions. Protecting one's own is a good tradition. Bullying newcomers is a bad tradition. It's the master's mission to lead a disciple to challenge a sect. Bullying a junior brother is a senior brother's mission. Junior brother, you still have a lot to learn. When the omniscient old man saw that Ning Fan was angry, he immediately became complacent. His expression was as infuriating as it could be. Obviously, his crazy behavior when he asked Ning Fan to challenge the sect was just a disguise. Goodbye. Ning Fan was too lazy to talk to the omniscient old man anymore. He put down the things, cupped his fists slightly and turned around to leave. This time, it was the omniscient old man's turn to be anxious. Even though it was fun to tease his junior brother, it would not be nice if he angered him and left. Junior brother, please wait. Wait. Senior brother is wrong. I won't dare to tease you anymore. Wait a minute. Why do you have the smell of the cloud life beast? Strange. Strange. Ah. Junior brother, please wait. Why are you walking further and further away? Junior brother. Seeing Ning Fan walking further and further away, the omniscient old man knew that he had gone too far this time. He had really angered Ning Fan. How could he not be angry? Ning Fan really treated the omniscient old man as his family. That was why he was worried about the omniscient old man's life. That was why he risked universal condemnation and went to the northern heaven to challenge a sect at the most inappropriate time. Challenge a sect? Would it benefit Ning Fan at all? For the sake of the omniscient old man, he was already mentally prepared to offend the entire northern heaven. In the end, he found out that everything was just a prank by the omniscient old man. It was fine if he was deceived by others, but being deceived by his family was the most unbearable thing. It was especially infuriating when the omniscient old man showed a complacent expression. If it wasn't for the fact that he could not defeat the omniscient old man, Ning Fan probably would have beaten this annoying old man up. Hee hee. What an annoying old man. Senior brother, huh? If I really have such an annoying senior brother, I'm afraid I'll have to fight with him all the time. It's strange. With my character, I won't be so angry even if I'm deceived by others. Even if I'm angry, I won't show it on my face. However, I actually lost my composure in front of Senior Omniscient. No. Instead of saying that I lost my composure, it's better to say that I'm at ease. I can do whatever I want without hiding my temper. Because we're family, it's fine for us to joke around and curse each other. After arguing, we can reconcile with each other. Senior brother, could it be that this person and I really have feelings of being in the same sect in one of our reincarnations? Ning Fan did not stop walking, but his heart felt strange. On the other side, when the omniscient old man saw that Ning Fan did not turn his head no matter how hard he shouted, he was really anxious and regretful. The price he paid for turning into his crane form and causing havoc in the 12th level of the Earth Abyss was not light. At this moment, he actually coughed out blood and fell to the ground. Seeing that the omniscient old man was so anxious that he almost vomited blood, Ning Fan did not dare to make him feel anxious again. He immediately turned around and left. Seeing that Ning Fan was finally willing to return, the omniscient old man finally let out a sigh of relief. However, as he was busy suppressing his injuries, he could not talk to Ning Fan anymore. He sat cross-legged on the ground to treat his injuries while Ning Fan stood aside with a complicated expression, watching him treat his injuries. When he saw that the omniscient old man's injuries were stabilized, he secretly heaved a sigh of relief. "Junior brother, are you not angry anymore?" After a long while, the omniscient old man's chi finally stabilized. Then, he asked carefully as if he had done something wrong. "I don't dare to be angry anymore." Ning Fan smiled bitterly. He really did not know what to do with the omniscient old man. He had already forgotten about his pettiness. If he wanted to scheme against him, then so be it. After all, it was not like he would lose his skin or flesh. Since he made a fool of himself just now, he would just treat it as coaxing this old man. "Junior brother. Senior brother, you're wrong. But I still don't understand why you are so angry. You have never been so angry before." The omniscient old man said blankly. He seemed to have recalled the past, but at the same time, he did not. "Forget it. It's just a small matter. I just don't like being deceived by people close to me. Perhaps to you, it's very normal for a senior brother to tease a junior brother because you have experienced too much and you are already used to it. But to me, it's the first time in my life that I was teased by someone close to me." Ning Fan sighed. "Senior brother, huh?" In fact, Ning Fan had also addressed a person as senior brother. No, to be exact, he addressed a sword as senior brother. According to the tradition of the Slaughter Palace, the Slaughter Emperors of each generation were all fellow disciples of the same sect. Therefore, Ning Fan once addressed the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword as his senior brother. What was the situation like at that time? Ning Fan remembered the kindness of the 7 generations of Slaughter Emperors. He had feelings for the Slaughter Palace and the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword as well. Thus, he was willing to address the other party as his eldest senior brother. However, even though Ning Fan addressed the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword as his senior brother, he did not feel any sense of kinship in his heart. The 2 words senior brother were more of a formality. When the 7 generations of Slaughter Emperors were in trouble, the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword, as the eldest senior brother, did not lend a hand. It was not because it was unwilling to do so. It was also because it had an important mission to protect the people of the Northern Dipper sect. When Ning Fan first offended the dark race and made all kinds of great enemies in the Eastern Heaven, the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword also did not lend a hand. Of course, after Ning Fan became the 8th Slaughter Emperor, the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword treated him quite well. It was even willing to help him train the 5 sword spirits. However, that was only within the limits of its ability. The sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword's kindness was indeed sincere. However, Ning Fan still felt that there was something missing. He could not explain it clearly. In the past, he did not know what was missing between him and the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword. Only when he learned that the omniscient old man was so angry that he lost his mind to save him did he vaguely understand the true weight of the 2 words senior brother. If the omniscient old man was in the position of the sacred Slaughter Heavenly Desolate Sword, he would not care about the lives of the people of the Northern Dipper sect, the righteousness, himself and the survival of the Eastern Heaven when he saw that Ning Fan was in trouble. He would certainly kill his way into the dark race and the Eastern World River like a madman and slaughter all the people who wanted to harm him. He would be extremely bloody and cruel. He would do everything he could. When Ning Fan thought of that, he did not know why, but he felt an inexplicable sense of sadness. "Junior brother, if your senior brother really knows his mistake, will you forgive me?" the omniscient old man asked nervously. After that, he returned to being at a loss. He did not understand where this kind of nervousness came from. Silently, tears of regret fell from his eyes. He was even more confused. "It's just a small matter. There's no need to forgive." Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Why did this old man cry again? It's fine as long as junior brother is not angry anymore. Although the omniscient old man said that, his heart was filled with unspeakable regret. It was as if what he really wanted to hear from Ning Fan was not this sentence but true forgiveness. However, he did not know where this kind of emotion came from. He only knew one thing. That was, if he bullied his junior brother in the future, he must do it discreetly, so that Ning Fan wouldn't be able to detect it. Otherwise, if Ning Fan were to discover it again, he would have to repeatedly apologize and use the trick of injuring himself to gain Ning Fan's confidence. However, it turned out that the omniscient old man still did not understand what was wrong with a senior brother bullying a junior brother. A senior brother was born to bully a junior brother. In this world, only I can bully my junior brother. Other than me, no one else can. If you dare to bully my junior brother, I will kill your entire clan. But who is my junior brother? The omniscient old man felt a pain in his sea of consciousness. Then, his eyes became dazed. When he looked at Ning Fan again, he did not recognize him anymore. Humph. Little friend clearly promised to let this old man experiment. But why did you leave without saying goodbye for half a month? Tell me, where have you been for the past half a month, and why have you come back? Wait a minute, who was the one who threw a pile of rubbish here? Een light stone, extreme een divine sand, desert west sunflower. Hey, little friend, can I trouble you to do me a favor? Can you help this old man throw away all these rubbish? If so, this old man will not blame you for leaving without saying goodbye. What do you think? The omniscient old man looked at Ning Fan with an expression of, I'm very generous to forgive you. Ning Fan's face instantly turned black. I won't take the blame for leaving without saying goodbye. This pile of rubbish is something that I risked universal condemnation to bring back for you. If you want to throw it away yourself.